Prepare yourself.
Oh, this is the Ninja Troll Digicast.
Hello again and welcome to the Cathedral of Wisdom for the Ninja Troll Digicast. My name is Tim Dixon and I am joined as always by Mike Worth.
Hello and welcome to the Cathedral of Wisdom.
Whoa.
I wanted to just try it once.
Gimmick infringement.
Thank you. Sorry.
That's not
This
cool.
is the Karate Orc.
It's not cool.
Happy New Week, Timmy D.
Yes. This is actually a really big week for us. So I'm
busy.
Yeah, it's very busy and we're very excited. But on this week's show, we've got a lot of just awesome stuff to sink our teeth into. In our Exploring the Multiverse segment, we're going to have the countdown to Infinite Crisis.
Yes, an amazing one-shot comic with a nice twist at the end that I think we're going to enjoy today.
Yeah, and we were just talking about it, and I was struggling to kind of remember the events, and I've remembered them now, so I'm looking forward to getting into it.
You're a little sad looking.
I am very sad, because I remember what happened. So I was like, not cool, man.
Yeah.
So, but also in the showcase, and this is what I'm really excited about, because this is my bread and butter. I love classic science fiction. This is, to steal your phrase, this is my jam.
It's not my phrase.
Well.
All right, it is.
Yeah, it is. But in the showcase, we're going to take a look at classic science fiction novels from the 1950s.
Awesome.
And we're going to...
that's like the decade, right?
That is
it's
the
like
golden age. Yes,
that's
exactly. Awesome. And we're going to follow it up next week with classic novels from the 60s and then 70s, 80s, 90s, and probably, I guess you'd call them the alts or the O's, the 2000s. I don't know what would you, because
the
70s, 80s, 90s, and then
the
double
O's.
alts. I think we'll stick with that from the double alts. That sounds good.
It's just going to roll off the tongue, especially on the
absolutely.
radio show.
Yeah, we have to work at getting it into the cultural lexicon. That's our job. That's what we do.
I have to look at the sign on the wall that says, "This is our job." We have to read that into
the Cathedral of Wisdom. That's where we live.
That's right. It's next to the cafeteria.
Exactly. And in our comic book or comic rack, we have, so I think, some distressing news about yet another reboot.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, so that's going to be probably a little nerd rant. But
that's okay because that keeps me alive in the DC multiverse. One more show.
Exactly. And in our movie and TV news, also, this is a lot of distressing news here. We've got some distressing news coming from the world of Doctor Who.
Oh.
On several different different parts. So that,
Timmy D.
I know.
Open your hymnals.
I know. It's a rough week. It's a rough week. But we're going to get you through it. So, but a couple tidbits that I saw during the week. Kevin Smith was actually in Star Wars The Force Awakens.
Okay, how?
That's become a thing now. A lot of people are revealing.
Is he traitor?
Like Daniel Craig. No, he wasn't traitor.
Okay.
Daniel Craig was the trooper that Rey used the mind trick on.
Oh.
So James Bond was the stormtrooper.
That's right.
That the Jedi mind trick was used on.
Right, he dropped his gun.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was Daniel Craig. Kevin Smith was the trooper at Maz Kanata's castle that said, "We have incoming at 28.6. Move."
Oh.
That was Kevin Smith.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I mean, I didn't notice the stormtrooper being a little chunky, but.
I did, because he was selling weed outside of Maz's castle before.
There was a skinnier stormtrooper next to him who kept talking constantly.
That's why people call that the Mos Eisley scene of,
that's right.
Of the new movie, because
the tip-off was the sign they had on the castle or the cantina that said, "I assure you, we're open."
Yeah. Well, the security camera footage of the Maz. All right,
we're not even supposed to be here today. So it's really cool that all these people, I mean, of course, want to be part of Star Wars, and that's the easy thing to do. You make them a stormtrooper.
Well, like the guys from Mastodon were in Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
they played. Were they White Walkers or they Wildlings? I think.
I think they were wildlings.
Yeah,
I think.
Who
yeah.
were running at the
basically, yeah.
Oh,
so
man.
they didn't have to have makeup much at all.
No, just show up in your band shirts and
standard metal.
get ready
band.
to fall back down because you're dead.
But I think that's a really cool thing. Is like all these people want to be a part of it, and that's it right there.
And they get the credit on IMDb.
Exactly.
As
Yeah.
an extra.
That they were in Star Wars. Yeah. So the only question for me is, do they get to keep the trooper outfit?
I think Daniel Craig should. I don't know about Kevin Smith.
But Kevin
Yeah, he
Smith
really
probably
should.
already got one. So
He was like, mine's nicer than this one.
exactly. He got his from Sharper Image.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was kind of cool.
That's cool.
And actually, this is bizarre, but yet really, really cool.
Yeah.
This actually is
I
from
heard about this.
Caltech's Institute for Quantum Information and Matter.
Yes.
Has released a short film that features Paul Rudd taking on Dr. Stephen Hawking
Yeah.
in a game of quantum chess.
That's awesome.
And this is where it gets really bizarre. I mean, quantum chess I had to actually look into it and see if it was real. And it is something that somebody at Caltech has come up with, and that's why they did this video.
Wow.
But Paul Rudd, he gets help taking on Dr. Hawking by, he's helped by Keanu Reeves from 700 years in the future.
That's awesome.
He gets an email from 700 years in the future from Keanu Reeves. And then Keanu Reeves talks to him, which at first I didn't think it was actually Keanu Reeves. I thought it was somebody doing a bad impersonation, but it's really him.
Did he try to sound like Neo?
Well, a little.
No.
But yeah, I like I said, I didn't realize it was actually him. But it is as bizarre as it sounds. But yet,
Was this real or was this like a fictional thing?
No, this was a fictional thing.
Okay.
And they're just trying to promote this quantum chess.
Sure. Yeah.
But it was Paul Rudd it's the beginning of it is a mock-up of the Matrix. When he's asleep in front of his computer, it dings.
Gotcha.
And when it dings, it's the email. And the funny thing is, it goes when your email comes in, it tells you when it came in, and it'll say like
year and time.
2 weeks ago or 20 minutes ago, and it said 700 years from now. It shows the screen and it says 700 years from now.
That's great.
And
I just saw little bits of this. Is it like tell me a whole movie
it's
you can
something.
watch?
Yes, it's something you should sit and watch. It's only like I think it's 6-7 minutes.
Okay.
But it's worth it, if for nothing else. A cameo from Alex Winter.
Awesome.
From I forget which one was Bill and which one was Ted.
Bill S. Preston. Ted is Keanu Reeves.
Ted is Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
That's right. So
Alex
Alex Winter is
Bill.
Is Bill. He pops up and I remember now which one was which because Keanu Reeves is basically talking to him when he wants him to shut up, and he's like, "What's the line from Bill and Ted that I need here?" And Alex Winter pops up and goes, "Shut up, Ted." And then at the end, I looked at it. Alex Winter directed it.
Are you kidding me?
So he was the one that directed the little short film.
Wow, that's awesome.
Again, like I said, it's as bizarre as it sounds, but you need to watch it.
Oh man.
And Stephen Hawking actually has a really good sense of humor.
Oh, I'm sure.
He does stuff like this all the time. I mean, he's been on The Big Bang Theory several times.
Yeah.
I mean, to the point of where he was on, and Sheldon had written a paper that he wanted him to read, and Hawking found a mistake. And he's like, I don't make mistakes, and he goes, "Oh yeah, you do. Are you saying I do?" And he finds Sheldon looks at the paper, and he finds it. And he goes, "Oh, it's here on page 4." And he goes, "Yeah." And this is Stephen Hawking saying, "Yeah," and it's a real boner too. So, I mean, Hawking has a really good sense of humor. So it was a lot of fun. Yes, yeah, exactly.
The robot voice.
In the robot voice, yeah. So, but yeah, it's like I said, it's bizarre, but it's a lot of fun.
Nice.
So I posted it on our Facebook page.
Cool.
So you can go to the Ninja Troll Facebook page and
watch
check
that.
it out.
Paul Rudd.
It's worth it.
Stephen Hawking, Keanu Reeves, Alex Winter. That's great.
You never actually see Keanu Reeves.
But
you hear his voice, yeah.
Oh, well, you don't need to.
And
see
of
him.
course, he weaves in a plug for his band, Dog Star.
Oh,
yeah,
not Wild Stallions.
No, it's not Wild Stallions.
Okay,
but I thought it was a lot
Dog
of
Star
fun,
rules. That'd be a good one.
But let's just transition right into our movie and TV news. And our first bit of depressing news.
Yes, what happened?
Stephen Moffat, the showrunner for Doctor Who, has announced that he will be stepping down as showrunner. And starting with season 11, Chris Chibnall, the creator of Broadchurch, will step into the showrunner role. That is not necessarily bad news.
Right, so Stephen Moffat been around for a long time?
He's I think he took over from the was it Russell Davies that restarted the series. So I don't know how long he's been the showrunner, but it's always a little concerning when a showrunner leaves. But Stephen Moffat is assuring everybody, listen, this he's great. He's been doing Broadchurch, and he's going to be.
Broadchurch is a good show.
He's gonna step into it, and I'm leaving it in great hands.
Good hands.
That's not necessarily the alarming part.
The
alarming part is they're postponing season 10 until next year. So in 2016, we will only get the Christmas episode. That'll be the only new episode of Doctor Who that we'll get.
That doesn't make sense.
Well, the reason he said it that they were going to do that is there's so much going on, a lot of British national events happening in 2016. They're delaying season 10 until spring 2017 to, quote, bring the nation together for what will be a huge event on the channel. So, because like the Olympics, and there was something else that they mentioned is going on. They want
Commonwealth Games.
Yeah, the people to be able to focus on that this year. Then that way next year there's nothing pulling attention away from it.
Is the World Cup this year?
I don't know.
I think it is.
I'm not sure.
The World Cup's every 4 years, just like the Olympics.
Does it hit the same year as the Olympics? They should work out that.
Yeah, they really should. But it's going to be in Qatar. I mean, it could be. I'm trying to think what would be so important to the British, but
soccer is very.
Yes, football.
Football is very important to the British. So, so that we will only get the only new episode we will get this year is the Christmas episode.
All right, but that's not the real bad news.
The real bad news is this is even bigger for us. Doctor Who will be disappearing from Netflix next month.
Horrible. That's not enough time to watch all of Doctor Who.
I know. That really sucks because that's how we were gonna catch up.
Right, or just watch for the first time.
And now we won't get new ones. So I'm just going to have to set my DVR to catch everyone that BBC America plays. Yep. And just take what I can get in whatever order I get it.
Or maybe our friend Chris Carpenter will loan us his
Blu-rays. He has the first 2 seasons on Blu-ray.
Okay. Of the new Doctor.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, so I may go steal his.
Yeah.
Just break in the house and
just do it.
Just steal. Yep.
Yeah. He doesn't listen to the show. So
dang it.
Yeah.
I forgot that.
Yeah.
Just ignore that. I was just kidding.
Do a walkthrough.
So, that kind of stinks. But such is the nature of Netflix.
Of the media.
Yeah. Occasionally things.
I know. I was shocked when I first realized that occurs on Netflix, but it makes sense.
Yeah. And that way they don't have the same things all the time, and it keeps people subscribing. People that are not subscribers, they can go, oh, hey, we're getting ready to add Doctor Who. Like if they add it back, they can hit that.
When it comes back around, they'll add it. They always try to make a supplement for new shows.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, but that was kind of sucky. But then Arnold Schwarzenegger says that the Conan sequel is still going to happen. But it'll be called Conan the Conqueror. And he's still going to play Conan.
You kidding me?
Nope.
Like old Conan?
Oh, no, old Conan. That's the thing. He's been on the throne for decades, and now somebody tries to bump him off.
So there was Conan the Barbarian, then Conan the Destroyer?
Conan the Destroyer, and then there was...
And Red Sonja was the only other one that had
I don't think there was a third one. They did a reboot with somebody different as Conan.
That's right.
And I can't remember the guy's name.
Apparently not memorable enough.
Memorable enough, yeah. So, and that was the thing, Arnold was going to go back in the role to kind of restart. And actually, they asked him about being able to do a role like that at his age, and he said it's not as bad because if you work out every day, and that's a fact of life for him. You don't cut that off. He's in the gym every day.
It's what he's known for.
Yeah, it's what he has lived since he was old enough to walk, probably. So he's in the gym every day, so it's not that different for him. I mean, it's not like, for lack of a better term, it's not like a normal person trying to jump into something like that.
Right.
It's going to be harder on him because of his age, but
it's a job.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at guys like Stallone and him, workout freaks like that, they can handle stuff a little 60s. Later. Yeah, they're in their 60s and they can still handle stuff like that. So, I think it could be interesting. I think you would definitely have to have a younger character in the movie, to be the champion, to take care of King Conan. It could be his son.
King Conan.
Yeah. Not Conan. It's different. Conan.
King Cone.
He's not a
King Conan, the ice cream.
He's not a late night host. He's the king. So,
my favorite thing about Conan always is like the intro, where the guy with like the brooding voice is like, "It was a dark time."
Yes.
I hope they have that.
Oh,
it would not be a proper Conan.
Yes. Although it wouldn't be a dark time, because he's
a good ruler.
Yeah, his rule has been peaceful.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not peaceful.
Everybody has smartphones.
That's right. Yes. But Marvel's Most Wanted, the new spinoff of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., has announced that Delroy Lindo has joined the cast as Dominic Fortune. Fortune was created by Howard Chaykin in 1975 as a 1930s adventurer and fortune seeker with a fondness for both handguns and women.
Awesome. What a plug for that. Oh my God.
Hey,
handguns and women.
That sums him up.
You need to say
perfectly.
It with the voice. Yeah. Do you like handguns and women?
I mean, who doesn't?
The Dominic Fortune is for you. Private Eye.
It could be awesome. I think.
Private Eye and public dick. And moving on.
Although I'm not sure how they're going to do like a 30s character, because he's the description of him. And I'm not sure how they did it in the 70s either. Have like a 30s guy living in today, or even then when he was created in 1975.
Maybe
so I'm not sure.
Acts noir, and people were like, something's wrong with him.
Yes, he got hit on the head.
He's like, I'm a real gumshoe, see?
Exactly.
And it's like, sir, why are you speaking that way?
So I'm not sure how they're going to do. I'm sure they'll do a
make
more
it funny.
modern version.
Yeah, hope they make it funny.
Or you're kind of the guy. It looks disjointed, and he's
the Guy Noir. Have you ever heard of Guy Noir on Prairie Home Companion, the radio show on NPR? What's his name? The great guy. I forget his name. Well, they do it's like an old time radio show that still exists in that format on NPR. And Garrison Keillor is his name.
Oh, okay.
He does a Guy Noir.
Okay.
And they do like it was a dark street, and then he interacts with
night.
Today. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so he has to interact
but it's all
with
noir.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense.
So it can work.
Yeah, it could work. Yeah.
Yeah.
But DC Entertainment has also released a new trailer from their new animated movie, Justice League versus Teen Titans.
Did you see this?
I did.
Is it good?
I've seen the trailer, and it looks really, really good.
I just saw like a quick promo on Comic Book Resources that this was in the mix.
It looks really good, and it's Damian as Robin.
Oh.
So like in the Justice League is being taken over by Trigon, Raven's father.
Oh.
Yes.
The demon beast guy?
Yes. And as Batman is being taken over, Damian yells father, and he goes running at him, and Batman says, "No, stop. Get out of here." So he's at least got enough of his faculties to warn them and say, "No, you got to get out of here.
You can't fight this."
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds cool.
But then you've got the Justice League possessed by him, so they've got to be stopped. So it ends up with the Titans, and Cyborg was with the Titans.
Oh, like he should be.
Like he should be, exactly.
Yeah. He said it with the JLA.
Yeah, and it was the synopsis that they've released is the demonic forces of Trigon infiltrate the minds and bodies of the Justice League, turning the veteran superheroes against their youthful counterparts.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Is Nightwing in the Justice League?
I didn't see him.
Okay.
No.
I didn't know if they would do that
Nightwing's
with
never
the-
actually been in Justice League. I don't believe.
He's just been a Titan.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's been a Titan, and he's been part of Titan, New Teen Titans and Young Justice.
There you go.
And I think that's it.
Well,
But
Batman
I don't think he's.
Incorporated.
Don't even get me started on that.
Mm-hmm.
Batman is not McDonald's.
I just think a drive-through Batcave would be so cool.
That would be cool, though.
Can I get a Bat Burger with some Robin Fries?
Speaking of that, in the second issue of the Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle crossover,
How is that going?
they find the Batcave. Actually,
To the sewer?
yeah, they go through the sewer and the cave system and everything, and they climb back out. And
Sweet.
like the last panel is them coming up into the cave, and one of the turtles, and I don't know the color, so I can't tell.
What color?
I think it was orange.
That's Michelangelo.
Okay.
Yep.
He goes, okay, we're not going anywhere until I get to play with that dinosaur.
Yeah.
That was like,
Michelangelo.
yeah, that was like the last page.
Sweet.
So it continues to be a lot of fun.
Oh, that's great.
So, but they found out that because they're in this world, they're starting to revert. So their mutagen is going away.
Oh.
So they will end up as normal turtles and rat,
Wow.
unless they can get
Unless
back
they
to
figure-
their world.
Unless they find the ooze
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And find the secret. For news from Star Wars Rogue One, Darth Vader will play a larger role in Rogue One than we thought,
Cool.
as well as they will have a new TIE fighter design, which I guess technically this would be like an earlier TIE fighter design.
Would be the X1 probably, right? Which is the long TIE fighter, like Darth Vader's TIE fighter they call it.
But no, that was a prototype. Like they always said that his was a prototype in New
Right.
Hope. So would it be something from before then?
Oh, I see. So
Because this is
Rogue
set-
One's before.
Is before a New Hope.
It's the time of Rebels,
Yeah.
basically. Okay, so then it might be like a TIE Defender,
Yeah.
TIE Bomber,
Yeah.
or the standard. Well, the standard's the standard. I think we've
Yeah.
seen that in the show. But the Defender has the pointy
Yes.
wings.
The Interceptor.
Yeah, which is the Defender? Oh, the Did you ever play the TIE Fighter game on PC? I think the Defender is that one that's sort of like the super ship that you earn like very later in the game.
Oh, okay.
That's like the
I remember
prototype one that does
Yeah.
all. It has photon torpedoes, a
Yeah.
ton of phaser banks. What's wrong? Yeah.
Oops.
Ion cannon. Oh, that's really cool. So,
And they're also going to have AT-ATs.
awesome.
So this would probably be like the first
Tripping at it.
Yeah, the introduction of the AT-ATs. So it probably would be kind of like figuring them out and how they're going to work. So yeah, it's nice to see he's going to play a bigger part though.
Cool.
It makes sense. I mean, that would be kind of
His time.
his
to
time.
Come up and
Yeah.
earn his place in the Empire.
Yeah, exactly. So that should be fun. And Disney chairman Bob Iger says that Marvel and Star Wars movies are not stopping anytime soon.
Good.
And as a matter of fact, about Marvel, he said there's so many stories, they could go on forever.
They really could.
He actually used the word they could go on forever.
Forever. Well, Star Wars not so much. That one's gonna run out of gas.
Well, but I mean, it depends on what they want to do after. If
Star
they-
Wars: The Next Generation.
We could we have a bald captain. But yeah, we're gonna have episode 8 and 9.
Mhm.
Will the story continue after that, or?
Yeah, right. I guess it's out of Lucas's hands, so it could
Yeah.
totally do that.
Well, he always said that he had envisioned it as 9 parts.
Mhm.
Still call him a little bit on that because he claims to have had everything laid out beforehand.
All artists backfill.
Yeah. If that was the case, you would have never let Leia kiss Luke, because that now, in retrospect, that's just
It's weird.
it's weird.
Yeah.
So you definitely had like a love interest thing going on there.
Totally. I was confused as a
Yeah.
kid. Like,
That's his sister, and he just kissed her. That's
I was
not cool.
I don't get to kiss my sister.
It's not cool. Get to her.
Yeah, I did live in the southern part of New York State.
So, but yeah, I mean, we could get another trilogy on the other side
That'd be
of
cool.
episodes. We could get 10, 11, 12.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You never know.
And maybe they'll do Aftermath. Maybe they'll do like as part of these what are they called? What's the Rogue One, like the Star Wars stories or
anthologies.
anthology?
Yeah.
So I mean, they're doing some Han Solo, Boba Fett, and
Yep.
Rogue Squadron.
Yeah, Rogue One is the first anthology.
Rogue One, okay.
Then Han Solo, then Boba Fett. I'd heard rumored that they were going to do a Yoda one as well.
That'd be
I
awesome.
would love
Yeah,
that.
that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Or an Obi-Wan. I
Or
mean,
an
there's that
Obi-Wan.
missing time on Tatooine.
Yeah. What happened to him while he was just watching Luke? I mean, watching a 6, 7-year-old is not going to be all that taxing. So something would have to happen.
Right? I'm trying to think
You'd
who
think.
else. Yeah. Maybe they do a whole scene of Leia growing up on
That could be another one, yeah.
on Alderaan, right?
Yeah.
That'd be incredible. So,
Yeah, so there's a lot of area that they could mine for possible movies.
Well, now that we've given them all the ideas,
There you go.
they just need to mine
Yep.
our show.
And you can have those free of charge.
Yep.
So
Just let us be stormtroopers.
that's right. I just want to be a stormtrooper. Yeah, I want to be the cool one.
Yes.
Did you get a chance? I don't know if you got your antenna hooked up.
I
yet?
do. I can never.
You never
like,
catch Supergirl.
Okay, so basically 8:00 is when all my children like flip out and are like, "I'm not going to bed."
Oh, so the war's going on.
So I'm like hanging one upside down, and I'm like, "Oliver, what are you gonna do?"
Yeah.
And I'm trying to watch like, yeah, I'm probably not gonna catch Supergirl until it's off air.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's
tell
fine.
us, yeah.
But
what's
this one was probably their best yet.
really?
Yes.
Who was the big bad?
White Martian.
Oh, right. You said
Yes.
because with John
So
Jones, Hank Henshaw.
I think the guy's name is David Harriman. I think is the guy
Sounds
who
familiar.
plays Hank.
White Martian.
No, the guy who plays Hank.
Oh, okay.
He really, carried this one.
Nice.
He got a chance to and I'm really glad because at first he was mean boss. It was just one dimensional. Yeah, he was just the mean boss, and he's gotten a chance as they develop the show and go through. They've developed his character into a beautiful 3-dimensional character with he has to hide his secret identity in 2 instances.
Wow.
Because he's not Hank Henshaw. He's masquerading as Hank Henshaw, but then he's John Jones, who's an alien. So he's almost like
Can't be
leading
himself.
2 secret lives.
Yeah.
So, and he really got it with this one. Seeing the I want to say White Russian. That's a totally different show.
The dude abides.
So, when he sees the White Martian, he freezes
Whoa.
and he has like PTSD
Oh, cool.
because the White Martians murdered his family, his 2 daughters, and his wife.
Wow. Does he know
And
this
the rest
particular
of
White
his-
Martian or no?
No, it's just
Just happens to be one.
yeah, it happens to be one, and he knows it's their the race that wiped his race out.
Yeah.
And so it's David Harewood is the guy who
Harewood.
plays John Jones, and so this one really hinged on him, and he knocked it out of the park. He got a lot of chance to shine. We hear the story of his family being slaughtered by the White Martians, and you get flashbacks to his daughters reaching out for them as they're dying, and it's brutal. You see
that's
what
awful.
exactly. You see what he had to go through, and so it's you get a lot of backstory for him, and you get a lot of bonding with Kara and Alex and him. So they get a lot closer, and Kara even gives him a hug, and he's like, "Okay, we're good. It's enough.
It's too much.
It's too much. Yeah.
Too much.
So, but we also got to meet Adam Foster, who is Kat's son,
Oh.
because Kara took one of the letters that Kat wrote, but never finished and never sent. She took one of those letters, finished it, and mailed it to him.
Oh. to sort of initiate the.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which initially got her fired because she's like, "That's it."
Damn.
Of course, I think this is like the 4th time that she's been fired.
Oh, okay. So
That's like a
every time
recurring theme for
and then
Kat.
she's ultimately needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he shows up, and he is being played by Blake Jenner, who is
Real life.
husband for Melissa Benoist, who's playing Supergirl.
Nice.
And of course,
Did they smooch?
yes, of course, he sees her.
Fall in
they're
love.
smitten, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the episode, he asked Kat whether what was it? Something about. He asked something about Kara, and Kat kind of realizes, he's gonna. Okay, all right, I'll leave you two alone. And she just kind of, and it was kind of cool because she has been able to be fleshed out as well into a 3-dimensional character, and not just the mean boss, the other mean boss.
Right. You said you were worried about that.
Yes.
That, like some of these, like those two in particular, the John Joe's Hank Henshaw and this Cat have just been like Jonah Jameson, just always angry, constantly pissed,
one-dimensional mean boss characters.
Yeah. Like thanks so much, but no.
Yeah, and they've both been able to be fleshed out a good bit where they're good 3-dimensional characters, and she has connected to Kara, and even though she still calls her Kiera.
She's getting that wrong.
Yeah, it's kind of intentionally.
Yeah, just to piss her off.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like a kind of like a test. It's like, okay, are you going to put up with this? But she does respect her, and she does value her.
Cool.
But she also, at the same time, she is very used to getting what she wants, and so she has to, kind of deal with that. So she no longer thinks that she's Supergirl, at least.
Oh, well, that's good. She
John
dropped
Jones
that.
John Jones took care of that.
Right, by doing the shape shifting.
That old trope.
Love it. Love it.
Which is, it's awesome because the rest of my houses, my wife and my daughter are watching it. They don't know the old chestnuts like the shapeshifter masquerading as the hero to throw off the secret identity ruining.
Yeah, or when Alfred can wear the cowl
Exactly.
and nobody notices the mustache.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like Cesar Romero. So, but yeah, they don't know that whole thing, so they're like, "Oh, what's going on? How is there?" And I'm like, "Anybody know a shapeshifter?" So it's fun to watch.
Yeah,
that.
right. That sort of fills in that logic.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I think this episode was probably their best one.
So I got to figure out how to see this because, like, it's on,
you can get like the season pass on Amazon.
Oh, can you?
Believe so.
On Amazon? Because I thought they reserved it only to be for their streaming service.
Oh, they might do that. I hadn't even thought about that.
Because that was like the one I was
CBS.
like, oh, okay.
No, you can get it on Amazon.
Really?
Yep. Season pass is $40.
Ooh. Right,
Yeah, that's kind of stout,
a little
but
pricey. Yeah.
But hey, there it is. It is there.
Thanks, Timmy.
And you can also rent the 1984 Supergirl movie for $2.99.
Ooh, that I'll do.
That you can handle.
That I can do. That we're gonna do a little Helen Slater night.
Yeah,
at the
there
house.
you go.
Yeah.
But she is the mom on on Supergirl. She plays their mother.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and Dean Cain was their father. And I thought that was one of the best things in the first couple episodes.
You can't make this stuff up.
I know. That's awesome.
That's really rad.
And they were talking to Tom Welling. Somebody interviewed him. He played Clark Kent on Smallville.
Yeah.
So somebody interviewed
He's a
him
little older
last
now,
week.
so.
Yeah, they asked him if he would play Superman on the show, and because the first question was, what do you think about Supergirl? And he's like, oh, they're doing a great job, and yada yada and all this. And then somebody said, would you play Superman if they asked you to? And he's like, well, nobody's asked me, but I think that would be kind of cool. So
good. Is he still in shape? Is he still?
Yeah,
looks good. All right.
Yeah.
Well then, yeah.
Maybe you could pull it off. So, although he never got to wear he only got to wear the suit once on
at the end, right?
on Smallville. So that where the two seasons of build up to a 45-second fight with Darkseid. That made me go, what?
You telling me that? Yeah. That was how they could get away with doing some of the more action super stuff,
Yeah.
right? Which was not cool then, right? Like in that whole
well,
era.
they for some reason they made their proclamation that there was going to be
capes and
what was it they said? No spandex and no flying. Oh no, they did end up with him flying, but they had said they had some kind of little rhyming thing that they'd said no cape and no tights, or I don't remember exactly what it was, but they
no
had
tights, no fights,
or something like that. But they had proclaimed that he was not going to be in the suit and he was not gonna be Superman. He was Clark Kent leading up to being Superman.
Right.
So
and nothing rhymes with spandex. So I'm
at a
loss.
Yeah, I don't know what that would be. So
some marketing genius. Right
but as we were saying, Supergirl had probably their best episode. I think the Flash did as well.
Yeah, you thought it was their best episode?
I think it was
Wow.
very leanly scripted. There was no wasted motion at all in there.
No filler at all.
It was
moved the
very
story
well
right
done.
along.
And one of those it was just boom, 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 and everything made sense. Everything fit together, and you had a couple of like holy crap reveals.
I know.
Yeah,
Should we throw the spoiler alert on?
dive into it.
Let's talk a little bit about it.
Yeah,
Well, I like that Patty called out Barry.
she tricked him into revealing it.
saying and I was like,
well, yeah, I mean she laid it out to him and she said, I've figured out that you're the Flash. Admit it to me, and I'll stay. And he had to make.
He's a punk.
No, I think
Why did he do it?
to protect her, because too many people that he knows, Zoom knows who he is, and has basically just pantsed him around town.
Yeah.
So, and Zoom is not above taking people that somebody against him loves to get to them.
Yeah.
He's got Wells's daughter, so he's not above doing that. He's
Right.
not above hurting the people that he loves to get to him.
And Thawne is now around. I mean,
Exactly.
They caught him.
So
right,
he
thankfully.
just he can't do that. He can't admit to her that he's the Flash. Then she's in on the secret. Then she's in danger.
Yeah.
So, but she did at the end of the episode. She punked him into revealing it,
Couldn't believe that. Yeah.
which was, I mean, you kind of knew that was happening, but it was left in a good place.
How about Jay sort of giving a little bit of background on Zoom?
Yeah, and revealing his Earth One doppelganger,
Yeah.
Hunter Zolomon.
Yeah. Right. So there's that connection.
That was one of those that
Weird.
left me slack-jawed, because if you don't know from the comics, Hunter Zolomon was Zoom,
Right.
the Wally West Reverse Flash villain.
Like the blue lightning guy we see now. Is that right?
No,
Or what did
he
Zoom-
looked just like Reverse Flash.
The Thawne. Okay.
Yeah, he took that name, but his thing was he was a friend of Wally's, and his theory was basically through torturing him, he would make him stronger, make him into the hero he needed to be.
Yeah.
So that was his way of thinking. So basically, he made his life a living hell to make him stronger.
Yeah.
But the Earth One version of Jay Garrick is named Hunter Zolomon. Is that gonna that they don't do stuff like that and just leave it laying?
They can't. I mean,
They
it's too loaded.
Yeah, they don't do stuff like that on the show.
Yeah.
So it means something, and it will come back. So
But Hunter Zolomon is Zoom,
yes,
but he's not on Earth One. He's just a dude. Right?
Yeah.
Don't they see him like in a park or something?
yeah, he's just a guy. He's not.
Yeah.
He's not. He doesn't have super speed that we know of.
But he could be from the future. I mean, right? Like we've learned now that Thawne's come from the alternate timeline, or the one that
Yes.
he may be altering to go kill Nora
Yes,
Allen. Right?
yeah, because he was before. He hadn't. He didn't know who Flash was, or even
Yeah.
what time period he was from.
Right.
Because
He's
I think he
discovering
had
it.
met him in the Speed Force. Because he didn't know. He didn't know where he was from, so he hadn't done research on the Flash.
Yeah.
So he was surprised when he showed up there.
Right.
Unfortunately, I mean, I don't think Matt. I think it's Matt Lyncher is the
That
guy
who's
who's playing
playing
him. Yes, he doesn't have the presence that Tom Cavanaugh does.
No.
It's not as
Well, I think
good and
it's
menacing.
okay. It's okay.
It's okay, yeah.
Because we have Zoom. If
Yeah.
we didn't have Zoom and he was like just back, it'd be really kind of flat story.
Yeah.
What'd you think of Wells making the Vibe glasses?
Got the Vibe glasses.
That almost knocked out
Well,
Cisco. And
but that's the thing. The goggles, that was, I initially thought, oh, he's used it too much. That's what's causing the problem.
Yep.
But that was him being out of sync with the timeline.
Right.
I think now looking back at it, it's like, okay, that's what was causing it. The goggles didn't. So I thought, initially I thought
trigger or something.
He had like overreached his powers.
Yeah.
But maybe that wasn't. Maybe it was just his reaction to being in a timeline that was kicking back, basically.
I really loved like how he would fade in and out and stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
It was like the way that I always wanted to see that in Back to the Future.
Yeah, rather than just the
Fading
disappearing
picture.
Yeah.
I thought they handled that really well.
Yeah, that looked really good.
We now learned Patty. What's her name? Not Patty. Joe's ex-wife.
Francis.
She's dying.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So we're still waiting to see who this funeral person is. And she's dying. I mean, there's some trajectory there. Who knows?
Yeah,
what will happen.
but Barry was visiting Ollie at the funeral.
Oh, it would be the
So
other way
it would
around.
be the other way,
If it was
yeah.
Francine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and Barry would be there for Iris more than anything.
Yeah.
It wouldn't. So it's not her, but
Would be
she is getting she's getting closer to passing away, and Wally and Iris are now connecting a little more. They both went to see her
Right, at the hospital.
So, but yeah, the shot of Reverse Flash and Flash getting ready to jump into the particle accelerator.
Yeah, then he throws him.
Yeah, when they're both standing there, getting ready to jump in there, Emma goes, "That's it. Print it. Make it a poster. Take my money." She wants that made into a poster.
Oh, that's awesome. That was great moment.
It was. Yeah, it was really cool. And yeah, he just grabs him and just throws him into the singularity.
Yeah.
So
because at first, Thawne did that red lightning punch and knocked Barry out. And I was like, damn, he's tough.
Yeah.
So, but not so much. It seems like Barry's
Barry
as strong, if not stronger.
Yeah, he's definitely gotten faster because they were keeping up with each other.
Oh yeah, right.
So,
when they were barreling through town. I mean,
and Barry was beating the crap out of him. And the only thing that stopped him from killing him,
that rapid punch in the stomach, man, that was awesome.
Breaking ribs. Yeah.
I love that, man. It was just
and Joe's the only thing that stopped him.
Oh, it would have murdered him.
Yeah, it would have killed him. So,
but that would have done other bad things.
And it's weird. It's like, okay, but he killed my mother. Well, he hasn't done it yet.
Yeah.
This guy didn't. So it's weird. He kind of is, but it isn't.
It's like a Minority Report.
Exactly.
Yeah, the pre-crime.
Yeah. So, but we also we got some casting news. Allison Page has been cast as Trajectory.
Who's that?
Who's a speedster.
Oh.
And her description on the show is she arrives in town to create maximum chaos, and her actions are misinterpreted as being done by the Flash. So he has to find out who it is, and find out who it is, and then kind of fix things and go, okay, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
Trajectory is the one that's from 52, right?
Yeah, because she was a part of the.
She was part of the Infinity Incorporated.
Yeah, but then her powers got shut off and she got killed brutally.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah,
because she was the one that was talking back to Lex, and he cut off her powers in the middle of a battle.
She was the first one.
Yeah.
To have them, and whatever they were fighting, stepped on her. I forget what it was.
Yeah, it was pretty nasty.
Yeah.
So yeah, but she'll actually. We assumed that Jesse Quick was going to be our first other speedster coming in, but now she's, as far as we know, she's normal.
We're waiting to see Wally and Jesse. I mean, if the Velocity 9 stuff occurs or if something else occurs.
Speaking of Wally, next episode, Flash and Wally come face to face.
Oh,
Yeah.
Is that in the synopsis?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So we'll get to that'll be cool. We'll see what happens there. He was a little less of a jerk this week.
Yeah.
So it's
They did enough to seed his
Yeah.
character persona.
Yeah.
He's a drag racer, so he's got a need for speed. It's all
and
in the cards.
he was doing it to pay for his mom's
so noble.
medical bills.
He's a noble, fast and furious dude.
Exactly. Yeah. But aren't they all?
Indeed. Indeed.
Now, like we were saying, actually, we weren't saying on the show. We were talking before it. It's starting to blend together. I was not able to watch Arrow this week.
I was.
You were. So
Yes.
you can give us a lowdown on what happened on Arrow.
Good episode. Things are progressing. I don't know if I'd call it the best ever. But Felicity has developed sort of like a bit of a psychotic problem.
Like a
she's
PTSD?
After what happened to her, the surgeries and stuff, she's starting to have little visions of things. Something is haunting her. And
Okay.
It's starting to get in, and she'll outright yell at it in front of the team. They're all like, "Are you okay?"
Ooh.
Yeah. So she kind of, you saw it in the preview from last week. She says, "I can't be on the team."
Yeah.
And it's because of this issue that's starting to develop. You see it straight away.
Okay.
And then, I'll give you the sort of basic thing. She gets over it towards the end, and they have a success against some bad guys.
Cool.
Oh, man. Some biggie things were revealed.
Okay.
So the flashbacks, right, like the military commando guys you see,
Yeah.
have a lot to do with some of the commando people we're seeing now and are sort of in the midst of the
ghosts?
squad. The ghosts,
Oh, okay.
Argus, and I guess Hive.
Yeah.
Right, ghosts are from Hive.
Yes.
Yep. So some people who you thought were just random characters or like sort of just around other big characters have a lot more to do with the main story than we previously thought. So, yeah, it's a great episode. Like,
Cool.
It's emotional, and there's some great action, and they're moving it along really well.
Cool.
They really are.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's and John Barrowman in an interview, John Barrowman, who plays Merlin, says that Merlin's life as Ra's al Ghul is about to change drastically.
Nisa's going to go
I think
for him.
Nisa's coming for him. So
He needs to be
had to be
beaten down.
coming.
He needs to get a little beat down. Yeah.
Yeah. And Stephen Amell said in an interview that he wants Deathstroke to come back on the show, both because he thinks it's a good villain for the show, and he likes the Manu Bennett brings like such an energy to the
so
set.
Good. He's
so good.
His voice is so dark and
Yeah, he said, but he brings such an energy to the set that he would love to have him back on the show.
I would love to.
I mean, he's still in that prison. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
He's gonna get out of
They'll
there.
break him out somehow.
Yeah. So, I'd love to see that because I mean, Deathstroke's one of my favorites.
And then weren't you saying like his daughter, like wears the mask too? Deathstroke's
Yes,
daughter.
Ravager.
Ravager. Maybe
Yeah.
they bring her.
Although
in.
we did have a Ravager, although it wasn't Rose.
Oh. Okay.
It was the character that
the woman who took over the
Summer
company.
Glau. Yeah, she played
Yes.
Ravager.
Yes.
But that wasn't his daughter. It was because his daughter is Rose. She's the Ravager, and then one son is Jericho from the Titans,
Oh.
and there's another one. I forget what his name is, but for a while he became the Ravager as well.
Cool.
So yeah, there's plenty of parts of the family to show up.
I just love the mask.
Oh yeah, the mask is awesome.
That's the best enemy. It's like that and like Mandalorian armor are like the two coolest like battle armor science
cool.
fiction ones ever.
It's very cool. So, and Legends of Tomorrow, we got it's now a week ago.
Yeah.
But we got our premiere
What'd
pilot
you think?
episode.
What'd you think?
I loved it.
That was great. I thought so too.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. And I like the fact that they're not legends.
Yeah.
And he basically
had to lie to him.
He lied to them
Yeah.
and told them that the reason he picked them is not because they're legends, but because they had absolutely no bearing on any future timeline.
Yeah, because if they die, then they won't.
It's no big deal.
No big deal. Yeah, so they're expendables.
So and I think that puts a chip on their shoulder.
Totally.
It's like
yeah.
I'll show you. Screw you.
Yeah, which is another great way to motivate heroes.
Yeah.
To rise up. I liked how Rip Hunter is sort of a little bit of a punk, a little bit of a troublemaker.
Mm-hmm.
He's he seems like a fugitive himself, like,
Yeah.
which, right. But like, I mean, I thought like Stein played really well.
Yeah, and they gave everybody a chance to shine. It was in a show like that with that many characters, you can run into a spot where it's about these three, and then these other people are just kind of around here.
Yeah.
This was really an ensemble where they all got a chance to shine. They all got a chance to do their thing. You got the Rogues with White Canary getting in a bar fight.
Yeah, that was great.
That was really, really funny.
I mean, classic.
Yeah,
Sarah. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, she's doing what she wants, just like she always does, and they're just like they're right there with her.
But when they go to the 70s, like we had seen that doctor that they found like a videotape of that was like a random clue, turning out to be their grandson.
That
Hawks,
it was their
their
son.
son. Oh,
Yes.
right. From
Another life.
Yeah, from the 20s or something. And then them trying to grapple with memories. That's a really cool thing to see characters so affected by time. So it's like they're not legends, but they are very much impacted by reincarnation and the different things that they've lived. And then I think Savage is just going to continue to be a great villain.
Oh yeah, that guy's awesome. Casper Crump is awesome.
He was a doctor, right? A Doctor Who guy or what?
No, I don't think so.
Kilgrave was a doctor.
Kilgrave was the doctor. Was the doctor? Yeah. And we got a couple comic book Easter eggs in the show. Probably the biggest one is the name of the ship is Wave Rider.
Yep. That
was a character from the 0 Hour and Armageddon 2001. Right. He was kind of a scientist. Actually, I think he was part of a group with Rip Hunter.
Yep.
His name was Matthew Ryder.
Right.
And he was given time moving powers through tachyons. He got infused with tachyon energy,
and he became
Wave Rider.
Flame-headed.
Flame-headed dude.
Yeah.
And in 0 Hour, he then merged with Extant, I think. Was that the thing? Or something like that? I don't remember.
Yeah, and the Monarch character. And
yes.
They became a super thing. And
that was a thing.
I don't know.
But the biggest thing was...
Yeah, what else? Easter egg?
The name drop of our boy, Perdegaton.
Oh my God, as being one of the great villains.
Yes, it was like...
like Genghis Khan,
Hitler, Perdegaton.
Nero,
Wait, back that up.
Yeah, Perdegaton. Yeah, that's how they said
that
it.
That is awesome.
I know. I was like, damn. Where's Ultra Humanite in that list? Come on, man.
I would have lost it. I would have had to pause it and just kind of wait, shake that one off.
Yeah.
If it said Ultra Humanite. But yeah, I think the show is going to be really, really good. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And we get tonight's episode is part 2 of the pilot. Is the way it's listed.
Oh, cool.
So this was done as like one thing and split into 2 shows. And I saw an interview with, I think it was the showrunner was saying that the reveal that they're not legends was supposed to be pushed a little bit later.
Oh, I think it was good they got it out of the way.
Yeah, I think, doing that now, because you would start to wonder, it's like, okay, in the future, if they're legends, if you pull them out of the timeline,
what happens?
What happens exactly?
Yeah.
So that question would have come up eventually. So just go ahead and put it out there, and you, like we said, you give them the motivation right there.
Well, then the show can be funny.
Yeah.
And it's not so serious, and Adam doesn't have to be always heroic and and be Iron Man. He can be sort of more fallible and sort of.
And he's kind of been struggling with that exact thing for a while because he was presumed dead for 6 months, and he said it didn't change anything. It didn't change the world at all. Nobody cared. Well, and so he's been kind of dealing with a
huge track record, until then.
So,
come on, Ray.
Well, they changed the name from Starling to Star City.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, there you go.
So there you go. So
well done.
But he's been kind of dealing with that anyway.
Yeah.
So it feeds right into that, and I think it gives them a lot of good motivation. So I'm looking forward to the show.
Yeah, this is I think 5 out of 5 Ninja stars for us
absolutely.
so far.
Yeah.
So tonight's the next episode.
Yep.
Which will be great, 8:00, right? 7 p.m. Central.
That's right. Yes.
And then we'll give a rundown of next time.
Yep.
This is how it sort of always is, right? We're right in the middle of DC week, always, or the
Yeah.
week of DC shows, Legends of Flaro.
Legend of the Flaro.
So,
yeah.
and maybe Timmy will watch Arrow next week, and
Oh, I will.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to work last night, so
we can Flaro,
Yeah.
but not Legend.
exactly. Yeah, well, we'll do Last Legend and wrap around. It's a time travel, so we're going back to last week.
We'll do Legends of last week tomorrow.
Legends of last week. Exactly. So, and speaking of Legends,
Yeah.
Blade Runner, the Blade Runner sequel, it starts filming in July. I'm so
know.
happy.
And I'm so happy about their choice to play like the next Decker,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah.
or-
It's, Harrison Ford is, of course, going to redo the role of Decker.
Right.
And Ryan Gosling, I don't know his character's name, but he's going to be
see.
like the new. I mean, it's obviously going to be like a torch passing kind of thing. But and it said that we'll get the answer to how Deckard can be still there.
Yeah.
Because this is in passage of time.
Right.
So this is an old Deckard. So
He's getting to play all his roles again.
yeah, exactly. He's revisiting everything, which I've got absolutely no problem with.
Just no Jack Ryan, please.
That would be a bit of a stretch.
If you want to see Ryan Gosling sort of be in a role that like I feel like would lend itself really well to Blade Runner, have you seen the movie Drive?
No.
Check Drive out.
Okay.
He says very little, and the way he acts is incredible. He is a getaway driver for clients, and he is so good at it. And he barely says a word. He's so quiet and calculated and calm.
Does it with body language and facial.
And he wears like special gloves. He has like this special like silk jacket that has like a dragon on the back and stuff.
Sweet.
Really, really interesting.
I wish I could pull
looking
something like
dude.
that off. I could.
You
No
could.
way.
Yeah.
No way.
You would.
Wouldn't happen.
I'm gonna get you one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should wear like a Coogee sweater or something like that.
That'd be awesome.
But yeah. But I think like when I think about this movie and I think about that casting choice, those two things come together, and I think that's a
Could be,
great
yeah.
primer for that.
Yeah, and that whole cyberpunk noir style. Yeah. I think that'd be-
Post-apocalyptic, desolate, like
Yeah.
I love that stuff, man. That was
Yep.
oh man, this is gonna be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love cyberpunk and post-apocalyptic stuff. I don't know why. I just love it.
This is Gibson, right?
Yep.
He's
William
our man.
Gibson. Yep. Yeah. So that's coming up. It starts filming in July. And football, X-Files, and Lucifer gave Fox a hell of a night in the ratings on Sunday night.
Yeah.
The X-Files, the return of the X-Files, had 16.2 million viewers, and Lucifer, which was right after it, was a little lower, but it still had 7.2 million.
Wow.
Number 2 show of the night, only after X-Files.
Whew.
So yeah, it was a great night. I haven't watched I watched like half of the first X-Files.
Okay.
And
I
then
saw
they
the
did
whole
it-
thing. Did you watch Lucifer?
No, I haven't. I've got it on the DVR. I haven't watched it yet.
But the little highlights and previews look good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's dark. I mean,
Oh,
it's like,
yeah.
and he's gonna.
He is
it's
the
gonna be
devil.
really interesting. Yeah, he's the devil.
He's supposed to be dark.
He is. He just so happens to be in the right line of work.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, what I saw of the X-Files, I really liked.
It was really good.
Yeah.
There's a tension in the show, which between the old characters and the new characters. I think they did a pretty good job of transitioning it. But I don't know. I've been reading mixed reviews about it. Some people don't like it. They're just like, this was bad. Like, you wasted all this time to bring back this sort of show like this. So some people are
So they don't like that they're bringing it back now, or they didn't like the show itself.
they were underwhelmed.
Oh, underwhelmed.
They
Okay.
thought, what a great series, what a great idea, but it didn't have the same punch
Okay.
that I guess a lot of things that are rebooting now have. I disagree. I thought it was
Yeah.
great. I mean, for me, like, and now Hulu has, I think, every
All the other
other
old show?
X-Files that you can
Nice.
just get. Everything is available.
Nice.
So I watched a couple episodes just to sort of get back in the zone, and I thought this was a really strong episode. So I won't tell you what happens at the end.
Well, that's something that I
It's
was
a good twist.
I was kind of I wasn't really like a religious follower of the X-Files, but I watched an episode here and there, and I would catch it when I could. Chris Carpenter, was
the deacon of
Yes.
X-Files.
Yes, and so when we get a little farther into the season, we'll have to have him come back on, and we'll do a discussion.
Yeah,
about
I'd love to know what connections he's seeing between the old and the
Yeah.
new. Yeah, of course, the main characters, of course, Smoking Man, he's in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know that. But you gotta see what happens.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait for that actual reveal. So, but yeah, there's just kind of what I saw of the first episode. They were just kind of almost like getting the band back together. So,
and I realize that that's the first 30 minutes of the Blues Brothers,
Yeah.
and that's fine. So
you have to do that. Yeah.
yeah,
So,
in 6 episodes, you got to move it a little bit, though.
yeah. And David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson, I think, did a great job. They fell back into those characters, and they little. I mean, time has passed, and so it's done things to them, and so. I think they're
crazy. I mean, he's like
Yeah.
so much more than before.
than before, yeah.
And her patience for him are absolutely paper thin. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just so.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I'm really looking forward to the whole. It's like 6. Is it 6 episodes that they're doing? Okay.
Miniseries.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. And new images were released from Batman vs Superman that seem to show Darkseid's Omega symbol.
It's totally gonna be him. I keep seeing all this concept art flying around.
Yeah.
And whenever when people make those things, I know it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's just kind of the
Yeah.
natural.
This was like
aura.
seemingly this was a capture out of the movie, and
Wow.
Batman is looking out across a plane, and burned into the plane is the Omega symbol.
Ooh, let's see.
But also, it's the same like dreamscape where we saw the parademons. They've already said that the whole thing where Batman's fighting parademons and then Superman comes in and rips his mask off. That was a nightmare, a Bruce Wayne nightmare.
You called that. Yeah,
Yeah.
you had said that was.
Yeah.
I see what this looks like. That looks pretty damn good.
Yeah. So, but
Yeah.
I don't think they would be doing this stuff and showing all the parademons and the Omega symbol if we weren't going to get it. It may be from the nightmare vision right now,
Yeah.
but it will end
What
up.
a great way to seed it.
Yeah.
That this is coming.
No pun intended.
Oh man, this is going to be such a good movie.
Yeah. So and we're less than 2 months away now.
Oh man.
And Zack Snyder revealed that the reason they chose to use Doomsday was to introduce one of the most iconic and powerful villains to face off against heroes like Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. So they're going to have all three of them together. You got to have a big reason.
Yeah.
So that's why they chose to do Doomsday.
All right, well, this is cool. I mean, my theory was that they were going to maybe bring in Ares or a big bad for Wonder Woman, but like, I guess it's a global threat, so she's naturally going to.
So she's naturally going to be, and
show
she's there anyway. We saw her we've seen pictures of her in her civilian
Right.
guise, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
So she's there anyway. So and apparently, I think it's been rumored that she has some type of connection with Bruce Wayne, not Batman, Bruce Wayne. So that may be why she's there.
Okay.
So, but yeah, we're 2 months away. I can barely
great.
stand it.
Can't wait.
I can barely stand
I
it.
can't wait.
And an image tweeted from the Jessica Jones Twitter account features a folder, a picture of a folder, like an old school folder. At the top, it
Manila
says
folder.
Cage, November.
Ooh.
So is that when we're going to get the Luke Cage show?
Or the premiere of the Cage Star Trek episode.
Oh, that'd be awesome too.
So that would make sense, right?
So yeah, that kind of obviously kind of rumor gives you the impression that Luke Cage will be out in November.
So I'm almost done with Jessica Jones. I watched a bunch of episodes over the I'd say Christmas break because it snowed, but the snow
The winter
holiday
break.
we had. Yeah. Right. You got to watch, Tim.
Yeah.
Can I tell you that like the last few episodes that I've seen have absolutely made me like crawl in my skin.
Oh,
and
wow.
Freak out and like see people in a whole new way.
Oh, wow.
I'll just tell you that Jessica is plotting to capture Kilgrave and to get, because like that's the thing is that he always gets away with things because nobody can ever document his powers. Like they accuse him and then he's like, what?
What are you talking about?
Yeah. And he can just make like a jury. He looks at them.
Makes him, yeah.
He has to be in the same room as them in order to control. So she is trying to she figures out a way to neutralize that.
Oh, okay.
So when I tell you that you need to watch the show,
Oh, yeah.
it's really good. It's getting really good.
Awesome.
So and then Luke's come back in. He's hired Jessica for like a job
Okay.
to find somebody. So she's a really good detective. I
Yeah.
really am liking how she's very thoughtful and using every aspect of things.
Yeah.
And it gets incredibly dark, man.
Oh,
There's a scene
yeah.
that I couldn't watch. I couldn't
Wow.
watch it. I was just like, that is absolutely horrible. Because you know how we talked about what powers we want to have? And I
Yeah.
said, oh, I want that.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, I don't want that power.
Never mind.
I don't want that power. Remember Billy Mummy on from Lost in Space played that kid who had controlled an entire town
Yeah.
on the Twilight Zone with
Yep.
his mind, and they bend to every whim of his. That's Kilgrave.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's
Wow.
insane.
Yeah, I gotta watch it.
Do it.
Yep.
But especially with Cage starting to mount. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good one.
Yeah. And with Iron Fist, Scott Reynolds, who was one of the writers from Jessica Jones, has now signed on to do the Iron Fist show.
They're about to get this. I think the
Oh, yeah.
what do we call them? The heroes from Hell's Kitchen?
No, it was Netflix and Kill.
Netflix and Kill, Thrill, No Spill.
There you go. Yeah.
I
They're
think
locking it in. Yeah.
they're about to emerge. I think it's going to be a great try.
And I cannot wait for Daredevil season 2.
And I keep forgetting Daredevil, like, is in that
Yeah,
lurking.
it's in it. Yeah, though
as well.
we're waiting on another season of Daredevil to come out too.
Oh my god.
So yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming from Netflix. So
Cool.
Netflix and Kill is in full effect. So, but that wraps up our movie and TV news. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to take a spin of the comic rack.
Our hailing frequencies are always open. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Just search Ninja Troll Digicast or drop us an email at ninjatroll@digitaltuxedo.com.
Just now, another kid dropped out of school. There's one every 20 seconds. Over 200 kids an hour. That adds up to nearly 5,000 kids every school day.
If we do nothing, 3.5 million kids won't receive a diploma over the next 4 years. But there is someone who can change that. And that someone is you. United Way knows that kids who have a caring adult in their life are more likely to make it. So make a pledge. Tutor a child who needs help. Mentor a kid who needs someone on their side. Volunteer to read to children. Because the path to success or failure starts long before graduation day. And the difference between a graduate and a dropout could be you. Take the pledge to volunteer now at unitedway.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Ninja Troll Digicast.
Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Like you angry. Dr. Banner, we need you angry. That'll do. The Ninja Troll Digicast. The only podcast with a kick.
All right, welcome back to the Ninja Troll Digicast. Now we got some events that are coming up. One is happening tonight.
Yes.
The Pencils and Pixels. What do we call it?
We're
Royal
so
Con.
unofficially naming it Royal Con, yeah,
Yes.
because it's on the campus here at Queen's University of Charlotte. All of our artists plus are going to be here, so we're going to actually have a few extra guests.
Oh, wow, cool.
People who were so impressed by the show, who are in our community, who were like,
Nice.
"Can I be in the thing?" And like, they're just so excited and lobbied hard on Brandon Paget and I to be in, and they're
That's
good
awesome.
friends, and we're welcoming them. So yeah, in the Watkins Gallery, we'll have our tables laid out. It'll just be like any Comic-Con you've been to, and yeah, just everybody come down. if
Yeah,
you
I'm
can.
very excited. I think it's going to be a lot of fun tonight. So
Hey, you'll be there. You'll have
Yep.
the Kapow Comic Art table. I'm going to live paint. John Hairston Jr. is going to live paint, which that's going to be the real
which
treat.
I may like just go over and sit there and
Just take
watch
notes.
him. Yeah.
Yeah. Just be like, can you tell me why you use pink and blue and green?
Yes. How did you see that?
Yeah, that color doesn't exist in life. So where did that come from?
Exactly.
And then this Saturday, January 30th, I'll be taking off from being at Temple, which I normally go. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, bad Jew. I'll be at Charlotte Minicon with my friend Timmy Dixon. We're
Awesome.
gonna have a table together, and I'll be painting there as well.
Cool.
And we'll be, like we said, we're gonna like sort of like blow a whistle, and then everything will change to Ninja Troll for like 30 minutes, and then we'll blow the whistle again, and it'll go
Hey,
back.
Anybody
We'll
that
make it
walks
work.
by, I'm throwing a sticker at them. So
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
if you
Like,
stand still long, I'm here, Ninja Troll.
just catch them. Yeah,
Yep.
you just got to catch them. Yeah. But that's what we got. That's what's sort of coming up immediately. I know we have some other events sort of on the horizon that I think we can talk about at a later time, because this week's so chock full of great stuff that.
Yeah, the Minicon is going to be awesome. It's going to. I mean, it's at the Grady Cole Center in Charlotte. It fills it up. Yeah. So it's always elbow to elbow all the time. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and my daughter is going to be there with her first cosplay,
which I guessed correctly.
Yes, you did. Yeah, you were the only person that figured it out. So
everybody just gave up. They're like, Emma, you got us.
Yeah. So, but yeah, she's been working on that. She's going to have that. As a matter of fact, I just remembered I need to pick up some double-sided tape for her. I'm glad I remembered that.
You got a list.
I do, yeah. Hobby Lobby is very happy that she's into cosplay now, because they're getting even more money out of me. So
there you go.
But yeah, she's going to be there, and she's bringing a friend of hers, so she's all cranked up. She's very excited and ready to go. So
I hope we see some 501st friends. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, I don't know if Marcus can make it, but I know the 501st will be there.
Cool.
So
it'd be a treat to see Marcus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but that's a look at the things that are coming up for us. Now, let's take a spin of the comic rack.
Meanwhile, back at the Cathedral of Wisdom, it's time for the comic rack. Hey, nice rack.
Knock it off, perv.
No, it's the latest news from the enormous world of comics. Right here on the Ninja Troll Digicast.
All right, first thing in the comic rack. I hate to even just say this thing.
Say it, please.
Last week, following rumors of yet another reboot of DC Comics, I think it was posted on Bleeding Cool that that another reboot was going to happen.
What are some of the things they're saying?
Well, they were just saying that it was rumored that there was going to be later this year there was going to be another reboot of the continuity, even though they rebooted everything last year.
Yeah.
But when that came out, it didn't take them very long. Co-publisher Jim Lee tweeted out an image with a blue curtain with one word across it: Rebirth.
Ooh.
So that pretty much confirms it, that they're going to be doing it again. This actually, of what they're saying now, is that this isn't necessarily going to be a reboot, a continuity reboot. It's just going to be like a relaunch of the books with number ones again, and it's like Marvel now. Like Squirrel Girl had 2 number ones in 1 year.
Yeah, Spider-Gwen, a bunch of titles.
Spider-Gwen, exactly. It did the same thing. But the new first issues will refocus the line on characters that are popular or being worked on for film and TV, with secondary characters pushed on to the back burner in a significant fashion. So
none of their secondary character books did well.
Yeah.
It seemed like Convergence was trying to bring back up some other B and C and D list characters into the limelight, right? I mean, why would I ever buy a Freedom Fighters comic, right? Seriously, but they had that stuff. So,
but you can do that if you put together good storylines and consistent storylines. That's the biggest thing. It has to be consistent. But I've read a lot of things this week online about failing numbers. Even Marvel is far and above the big seller.
Yeah, but
they're still their numbers
in Marvel are really selling.
Yeah, and their numbers are still down.
Yeah,
so it's something that is concerning people in the industry. But stuff like this doesn't help.
Yeah,
what you need to do is consistently put out good quality product. That will bring people there. Constantly rebooting everything and coming up with gimmick variant cover, having like 16 variant covers for each book, is not. Those are gimmicks. That's not going to bring you in regular readers. Putting out good quality stuff. That's what's going to bring you in quality readers.
I mean, trying to reconnect with old readers who have a different continuity in their brain. I mean, you're asking a lot.
You're asking a lot, yeah. So everything I know about Batman or Robin or Flash is all thrown out the window.
Yeah.
Like there's no Wally West anymore.
It's
there's
dumb.
It's gone.
It's dumb.
So so you're every 3-4 years you're expecting me to completely throw what I know out the window for your new idea of what's going on.
Well, it would be really smart if they went back to the pre-New 52 era I think that would be acceptable as being the most sort of common time that kept most of the previous era's continuity.
Yeah.
Different ages, right? Bronze and silver
Yeah.
stuff. In my mind, at least from what I've read now of DC over the last, half a year, that would make the most sense. Like, enjoy your legacy. They could sort of embrace the storylines, the origins, the power things. Work on it a little bit, like Crisis on Infinite Earths did. But don't do too much.
DC over the last probably 6 years or so has been like a bunch of jittery squirrels. Yeah. Oh, let's go over here. Oh, let's go over here.
Red laser.
Yeah. That's exactly what they seem like they're doing. Jim Lee, you are absolutely, without question, a legendary artist. I don't think you should be a publisher. Because he took over in 2010.
Yeah.
And think about all the stuff that's been going on after that.
Is that New 52? And
2011 was New 52.
Oh, my Lord.
So he took over in 2000. Him and Dan Didio. Or Didio. Yeah. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I just like saying Didio.
What the Didio?
What the
Dan
Didio, man? Yeah, that's part of it.
You look at this cover. This is Jim Lee pencil and Alex Ross finish.
Oh, it's phenomenal. He is absolutely an incredible artist. But what has happened, the stuff that's happened while he was co-publisher, it seems like he's using DC Comics as his own little personal playground. He gets to do the projects he wants to do.
Oh yeah,
and then do all these other things, and
so that's bad because in the light of all the sort of seeming failures coming out of DC,
I'd say yeah. I mean, you have to look at the things that have happened while he's been. It's like a athletic coach. Mm-hmm. You don't win ball games, you're a failure as a coach. Doesn't matter how much the people love you. Doesn't matter how you did it in this one single game. If you're not a winning coach, you're a failure as a coach. And if you're not selling comics and you're doing things that are screwing things up and not ingratiating yourself with your readers, then you're a failure as a publisher.
Well, Batman's doing great. But Batman's always sort of winning. And that's the thing. That's his favorite type of project to work on.
Yeah, that's their biggest seller, and then he gets to work on all the Batman stuff. He gets to do the projects he wants.
Maybe Jim has like the ABC chart on his wall. Instead of always be closing, it's always be confusing. And maybe they're just winning at that. They're like, yeah,
we got that nailed.
Yeah,
and it very well may be because they're part of the larger Warner Brothers machine now that they have higher up people that they have to deal with to try to do this stuff.
There's like these,
and that may be coming
editors.
from it may be coming from higher up than Jim Lee. And but again, it's like I said, if you're a winning coach, it may be the general manager that's making the bad decisions that you have to deal with, but it ultimately falls on your shoulders.
You got to run deep interference on it to slow it down and get what needs to done. Well, let's hope maybe this is going to be promising. And like I said, it keeps me alive in my segment on the show.
There you go.
Thank you, DC, for keeping my job here.
Yeah, I'm interested to see exactly what this is. If it is just a relaunch of new number ones,
that'd be a letdown.
Then it just becomes a gimmick.
Because they did that already.
Yeah.
I mean, there already was a ton of number ones at the end of, right after Convergence. So going into August to the end of the year.
And most of them got canceled.
I know.
But that's the thing. Remember we were in the showcase on Teen Titans. Mm-hmm. That was the thing. They didn't expect it to last longer than 6 issues.
Yeah, and how long did it go for?
Because it's still going now.
Yeah.
Because that was the thing at DC Comics for the past 10 years before they had started. Nothing new went for more than 10 issues. So they was expecting it to
sparkle and fade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, that's the thing. You give something new like that a chance, and you catch lightning in the bottle, and you get an enduring thing like the Teen Titans that has held on since 1982. But you can't, if you're constantly pulling the rug out from under people.
Right, always new origin, always knew this, the aging or,
or not aging. That's the biggest thing. Is it's weird. It's like, okay, Batman is now seemingly the same age as Nightwing.
But
if you look at the way they're drawing, I mean, Batman's
yeah.
got a beard, but you can't have a Batman that's perpetually 28 years old and still have him be a mentor to 4 different Robins.
It's weird.
And they're all grown men now.
Right,
Well, no, Damian's
without
not,
passing
but-
the torch. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's very hard to.
But just age him in the comics. I mean, he doesn't have to be that was the thing with the New 52. It was they were all like 23 years old. You can't do that. I mean,
Unless
still
they are 23-year-old heroes, like new people.
Yeah, and no, but that has never done well. Anybody other than Bruce Wayne as Batman has never done well.
That's the conundrum.
Yeah,
right. That's the sort of the little pickle that you get into if you're like, well, do that, but then we
But
can't.
people don't like it. Yeah,
That's right.
so
Sorry,
there you
Timmy
go.
D.
Although I had no problem with Dick Grayson as Batman.
Okay.
It was well done.
Yeah.
And they didn't. It wasn't just another dude thrown in the suit. That was the thing. It was
There's as much history as Batman.
exactly. And if anybody's going to be a successor to Bruce Wayne, it's going to be Dick Grayson.
Yeah. Well, they did it on Earth too,
Yeah.
right? Where he was he had become Rob
Rob Man, or I don't know what
Rob Man.
sounds weird, but
Batten.
Yeah. So we'll have to see what they
Reboot.
What they come up
reboot.
with.
Psych, it's
Yeah.
a rebirth.
and like Oprah would say, you get a reboot,
Yeah.
you get a reboot, everybody gets a reboot.
Look under your seats.
DC has also announced that they're rebooting a line of comics featuring classic Hanna-Barbera cartoon characters.
Awesome.
That actually is pretty good. So
Well, IDW's been doing Scooby-Doo for a while now.
yeah, not anymore.
Ooh,
I think that's been pulled.
Oh, they're good.
Well, yeah, but now DC wants to do it. They're part of Warner Brothers.
That's it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
All
it.
right. All right.
Game over, man. But it will feature Scooby Apocalypse,
Sweet.
Future Quest. So I don't know if that's Johnny Quest, maybe
Yeah, I don't know what Future Quest is.
Wacky Raceland, and the
Wacky
Flintstones.
Races. Yeah.
And we'll focus on telling new kinds of stories with decades-old favorites.
That's got to be Johnny Quest.
I figure so, yeah.
But in the future.
I think so, yeah.
It's a little too racist the way it used to be.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
But also, I thought this was really interesting. Chris Daughtry, the singer who was originally came to fame on American Idol, didn't win, but is more successful than most of the winners. He is actually a huge comics fan.
You know this stuff.
I do watch American Idol, yeah.
All right. I'm trying not to judge.
Hey, I like music. You don't like music? What's wrong with music, Mike?
No, do not strawman me like that. No way, okay? Because I'll be like, I went to a Jonas Brothers concert. Come on, what, you don't like
Hey.
music?
Hey,
I could say the same thing.
the
Same argument.
Jonas Brothers are very talented. That's all I'm saying.
As you sip on your mellow yellow.
I am mellow. But
All right, so Chris Daughtry.
yeah, Chris Daughtry is a huge fan of comic books and is actually an artist.
Oh, really?
And he is doing a variant cover for the upcoming Batman number 50.
So what? So now, that's amazing. I was going to say, so what? Now people on American Idol are artists too,
Some of them are. You don't know.
as in they draw in their garage, or
Yeah.
like,
Yes. But yeah, actually, he tweeted out some. It wasn't the full image, but it was close.
like his roughs almost. Or
Yeah,
inks
and it looks pretty good.
awesome.
So I'm interested to see it because it's. I mean,
It would be a variant. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, it's a variant cover. Yeah, I mean, it's Batman number 50. It'll probably have like 12 or 13 variants anyway. So, but it'll be interesting. It's
That's a
somebody
biggie.
that you wouldn't expect.
Absolutely not. Right.
That is an artist and has an opportunity to do and he is like over the moon. He's like completely geeked out.
What a credential.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and an opportunity to do. And he said that he ran into Ben Affleck at San Diego Comic-Con, and he said he's not ashamed to admit he shedded some man tears. So obviously he's
That's cool.
he's a huge fan of comic books.
Well,
So,
congrats to Chris. Not
Yeah.
only is he a great singer, he's a variant cover maker.
yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Love it.
And Batman writer Scott Snyder is reportedly leaving Batman, kinda.
What's going on?
He'll be moving from the soon-to-be bi-monthly Batman to write Detective Comics, which is going to continue to be monthly.
Oh, okay.
So he's leaving Batman to go to Batman.
So he'll be more frequent because
No,
bi-monthly.
No, Detective is monthly. Batman's going to be every 2 weeks.
Oh, so it's semi-monthly. Bi-monthly would be would be every 2 months.
Okay.
Welcome to our world of English.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, semi-monthly means half a month, right? So every 2 weeks.
Okay.
And bi-monthly.
It did say bi-monthly. I assumed it was twice.
Like a biennial would be every 2 years.
Yeah, that's true.
So
maybe it is going to twice a month. Well, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't. No, I think because Batman's their biggest seller. There's no way they're going to
be less frequent.
Yeah.
So it's
they're
probably
go
semi-monthly.
It should be. Yeah.
I think it's just what you wrote. I'm sorry, I'm picking up.
No, it's not. Hey, it's not what I wrote. I copied it from somebody else.
I'm going to grammar rage.
Somebody else did it. So I always throw somebody else under the bus. But before he started writing Batman in September 2011, he was the writer on Detective. So it's basically going back to home. But this will actually, because it's going to twice a month, it's going to be more like event based. It's going to and Detective will allow him to tell longer stories and
branch out.
Yeah, branch out a little bit.
It's a more umbrella title.
Exactly.
Just clarify real quick: the Batman and Detective versus the Batman and Batman. They're different, right?
No,
but they're the similar. Is it the Justice League that has the Batman? That's the robot suit.
Yeah. No, Batman and Detective right now have Jim Gordon's the Bat Bunny,
and then JLA
has
Bruce Wayne.
In Metron's chair.
Right.
Yes.
Well, that's been awesome.
That's crazy.
The Dark Side War.
And it's basically he's forcing it to do things it doesn't want to do. So it's feeding back on him and the
blood comes out.
Blood will be coming out of his nose and
Master Bruce, I might recommend you use the chair less.
You need to knock that off.
Yeah.
So it's feeding back on it. It doesn't like what it's doing or what he's doing. So it's kicking back on him a little bit.
He asks too much.
Yeah. Yep. But that's what he does.
Yeah.
And Marvel has released a synopsis for Avengers Standoff, Welcome to Pleasant Hill, which is the kickoff to the Avengers Standoff crossover that's going to start. The synopsis says, from the outside, it looks like the perfect small-town community. But underneath the surface, Pleasant Hill has its fair share of secrets. Pleasant Hill is the kind of place where folks look out for each other, where everyone knows who their neighbors are. But who are you, friend? And what are you doing in Pleasant Hill?
Ooh, that's a nice fourth wall breaker.
It took a little sinister turn there at the end.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. But this is going to be the kickoff. The Pleasant Hill, there's something going on in Pleasant Hill, and I think they try to infiltrate there, and then they get found out, and that starts the whole thing.
Awesome.
And that's going to be, there's a lot coming out of that, like the Thunderbolts thing that we talked about last week, the new series.
Yep.
That's coming out of Avengers Standoff.
Cool. So this is a little arc that's happening right now.
Yes, exactly. It's going to be a crossover, which there's like 4 different Avengers titles running now.
Oh, yeah. A-Force and stuff.
Yeah. Technically that counts too. So
right. I guess.
This is more and more. So, I'm not sure exactly when. I think that starts in May. May start around Free Comic Book Day.
That sounds right.
I think so.
Yep.
And the El Rey Network, which if you've got a really high tier cable package, you might get El Rey. The El Rey Network is releasing a comic in conjunction with the season premiere of Lucha Underground. The comic will follow Rey Mysterio's Jr.'s version to the Lucha Underground Temple. It will be written by Fabian Rangel Jr. and drawn by A.C. Osorio. There will be 4 issues released bi-weekly, and then they will be released on Scribd.
Oh,
so they'll be released free.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
that's very cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. And the preview I saw, the art looks really, really good.
Nice.
It's
Rey Mysterio Jr.
It's Rey Mysterio Jr. Yeah,
is he superpowered or he's just a fighter?
No, probably in the comic books he'll probably have a little
something.
He'll be a little souped up.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rey Mysterio Jr. is the legendary name in Lucha. and he spent probably about 10 years with WCW. Then when they got bought out by WWE, they brought him in, and he was there for a while. And now he's left there, and he's back to Lucha.
Cool.
And I mean, the Lucha Underground show it's weird. It's almost like a mixture of Lucha, like it's a mixture of wrestling and Mexican soap operas.
So it's just like WWF.
Oh no, it's
like old school.
way over.
There's no like a backstage drama.
Yeah, there's backstage drama, and it's fun to watch. But yeah, there's spots that it's really melodramatic and.
Is it like they're in the hospital and they do the slow zoom with the soft lens?
Almost, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
oh, Dia.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
Abuela.
Yeah.
No.
So
I will take you into the ring.
A little bit, yeah.
I have seen them.
Yeah. But it's fun to watch. It's kind of cool. So,
cool.
But yeah, and actually the El Rey Network it actually has some good stuff on there. They have like a lot of old, or not really old, but basically like Spike used to be, like movies for guys.
Yeah.
It's kind of a lot of that stuff.
Okay. So old action.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, and The Walking Dead will be releasing an adult coloring book on May 4th. Sweet. So all these Walking Dead comics that have never had any color, you can now finally give them the color.
Awesome.
That they should have had.
That's a challenge. I like that.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
I think it's cool. I think adult coloring books is a fun concept.
I keep reading about that is reemerging, like as a way to make people more creative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
coloring. So
yeah, and it's something you don't think about, but yeah, I mean, because it's just like being a color artist in a comic book. That's what they're doing,
essentially.
Yeah.
But people do it incredibly. I mean, it takes it to. It's like there are color artists out there now who were like, early on when inkers took over,
Mm-hmm.
right, and sort of became they were very separate. I mean, some of it's amazing. I mean, amazing,
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, I think it'd be a lot of fun, and it's coming out on May 4th, so it should be right around Free Comic Book Day.
Just about. I hope they do something with it, like have a contest and show which the best
that
ones
would be
are.
cool. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
And Marvel updated their Dead No More teaser image with a new one that features spider webs. And there will be a prelude special for Free Comic Book Day leading to the epic event. So this is going to be an event,
That's
Dead
awesome.
No More event.
Dead No More.
So, and with the spider webs on it, of course, speculation, there's been a whole lot of death that shaped Spider-Man through the years. Uncle Ben, of course, the first.
Gwen
Stacy. And most recently, Dr. Octopus.
That's right.
Because he was in Peter's body.
Right.
And when he came,
Superior Spider-Man.
Yeah, and when he came back, it ended up with basically him believing that Dr. Octopus was dead. But if you read Amazing Spider-Man, like I do, there is at Parker Industries, there's a robot it's an old robot that almost like like clunky prototype kind of thing, and they just basically keep it around almost like almost a mascot.
Yeah.
But the last issue, something was said, because when Doc Ock was in Peter's body, he fell in love with a woman that works there at Parker Industries.
Okay.
When Peter came back, and they were engaged.
Oh.
When Peter came back, okay, that's not the person she fell in love with. And she realizes it, and he tells her, like, okay, this is,
Yeah, that went over well, I'm sure.
Exactly, yeah. So they kind of have to keep it secret. She knows he's Spider-Man, and she knows he's not the one she fell in love with, and he wasn't there, so he's not in love with her. So they just kind of dissolve their romance.
Yep.
But she still works at Parker Industries, and she has this old robot that, like I said, they kind of keep it around like almost like a mascot, and it always seems to be with her. And last issue, she tells it something, and it responds in yes ma'am, or this, or, yeah, and it's done in the old blocky computer
digital
types,
text,
but the next panel zooms in on its face, and in the eyes you see Doc Octopus. So he has put his consciousness is in that robot.
Wow.
So he is alive and he is there. So that was my immediate thing. I was like, oh, well, it's
right, with
Doc
spider
Ock.
webs, Dead No More.
Yeah.
Did the colors make sense? Because usually, like, they try to tie colors and stuff to
It was a red curtain, but I think that was a play off of Jim Lee's thing with the blue curtain. I think that's where that was.
Okay.
But it was just like a white web behind the words "Dead No More."
Interesting.
Yeah, but I think that was my immediate thing. I was like, okay, well,
Doc Ock.
Doc Ock's coming back.
Nice.
I kind of hope that is what they do. If they bring back Uncle Ben,
What would he do? What would be his impact?
Well, I mean, you're taking away one of the most iconic deaths in. It would be almost like saying, "Oh, hey, you know what? Krypton's fine. It's still out there."
Right, or Bruce Wayne, your parents are here. Yeah.
Yeah, it would change everything.
Right.
So I hope that is what they do. What's coming? So
that'd be good because then it's conflict can ensue. And, or a team up or something.
Yeah, and Parker Industries, you can make a case that it's
successful because of Doc.
Yeah. Because when he was Peter Parker, he finished Peter's doctorate. He basically started the company and built it up. So it can be a big case can be made. Hey, this is my company.
Ooh. That'll be good.
And I mean, it's not something he can legally claim, but he can sure claim it with Peter.
Oh, well, they can brawl.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. So, yeah, that could be a lot of fun.
Nice. Sign over the company to me.
Exactly. So, and this spring, Titan Comics will release a new series based on the History Channel's series Vikings.
Oh, good.
Written by Kevon Scott with art by Staz Johnson. And the series will feature politics, intrigue, betrayal, and sword-swinging combat. Yeah. You know, Vikings.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what they are.
No sailing.
I'm sure there will be a little bit of that.
No
too.
berserkering.
Yeah. And it will follow Ragnar Lothbrok.
Good old Raggy.
Dude, that's an awesome name.
That is. You got to have a tattoo in your face.
That's right, yeah. Ragnar. And it will take place within the third season of the show.
That's cool.
It's one of those shows that when I saw it was coming on, I wanted to watch it, but there's just too much to watch.
I tried one episode. It was okay.
Yeah.
It's good, but it doesn't have the. I hear it gets better. Some people who love it are like, oh, wait till you just see.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I wanted to watch it. It just it was not enough time.
Yeah.
So.
I don't think we know enough about Vikings either to feel like, like period pieces, if you know something about it, they're much more enjoyable.
That helps a lot, yeah.
But if I don't know much about Vikings, like where their settlements, where was the capital of Vikingdom? I don't know where it was.
I guess that would
Denmark or something, or
Denmark or Norway, or was it Iceland or
fjord? I don't know. Exactly, Tim. Case closed.
Exactly.
We are Viking dumb.
We just proved our point right there.
You're like, Vikings?
I don't know. Iceland,
Minnesota?
There you go. I know they wear the hats with the horns on them. So
that's right.
And I didn't see anybody in the promo for the show wearing a horned hat. So
yeah,
they're right there. So
inauthentic.
It says it's not real.
Yes.
But that is our comic rack, and we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to explore the multiverse with the countdown to Infinite Crisis.
Hell yeah, we are.
Hi, I'm Louis Black, and I'm a big supporter of the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation and its mission to cure CF. People ask me, Louis, what's your personal connection to CF anyway? Well, I don't have one. I'm just passionate about finding a cure. The CF Foundation has made amazing progress. People are living longer, healthier lives today because of innovative new treatments made possible through the foundation. But that's not enough. We need a cure, and we need it yesterday. The progress we have made is a direct result of the dedication and donations of folks like you and me. There's still more that needs to be done. Oh, no. I knew it. He wants our money. Well, yeah. I feel like an idiot for asking, but aren't you just going to throw some of it away each week on something stupid? So why not throw some of it our way? You'll feel better about yourself, and I won't have to come to your home and yell at you. Support the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation and help make CF stand for Cure Found.
Now it's time to explore the multiverse. On the Ninja Troll Digicast.
All right, this is the Exploring the Multiverse segment where we take a look at the DC multiverse, starting way back at Flash 123 with the Flash of Two Worlds, and moving all the way up. Now we're up to Countdown to Infinite Crisis.
That's right.
Which is a step right before the Infinite Crisis, which is the second part of what they call the Crisis Trilogy. That was Crisis on Infinite Earths, then Infinite Crisis, then Final Crisis.
That's right.
So this is the Countdown to Infinite Crisis.
It is.
So take it away.
Sure thing. So this was in 2005, a one-shot comic that came out that sold for $1, and you got 80 pages for $1, Tim.
That's pretty sweet.
I mean, they were just giving it away. And this is probably one of the last comics that have the matte paper. I actually got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to Heroes, and they had it for $1. I don't know
They
why.
still sold it for $1?
Yeah, it was like unbagged and everything. It was
Wow.
just sort of chilling, and I don't know why. I
Chilling
kind of
like
lucked
a
out. Yeah.
It does have the matte paper. I like this.
The classic, but getting way into the digital color. The cover, and so this is a great thing. This book has a lot of cool sort of surrounding story, which I'll talk a little bit about today. The story's really good itself, but the script was co-written by Jeff Johns, Greg Rucka, and Judd Winnick, while the art chores were divided up, generally on a chapter-by-chapter basis, between the penciler inker teams of Rags Morales
Nice.
and Michael Baer, and then Jesus Says and Jimmy Palmiotti. Ivan Rice and Mark Campos and Phil Jimenez and Andy Lanning. And then let's see. Artist Ed Bennis, he penciled and inked his own chapter that he wrote.
Okay.
So it was like people were worried because there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And that generally doesn't bode well for a good story.
Well, it can be kind of jarring because you go from one creative crew to another,
right?
And if their styles aren't complementary, it can be like almost
tone
like
of the story will change.
Yeah, hitting a full speed, like a speed bump at full speed.
Right. Especially if the heroes have stupid looks on their face just because of the way the artist draws, let's say. Right. But the cover is amazing. I have the first printing cover, which is Jim Lee and Alex Ross. Jim Lee pencils and roughing, and then Alex Ross finish. And this one was special because there's a cloaked figure who's dead.
Yeah.
Right.
I was just looking at that.
And you're meant to not know who it is.
Yeah.
They did a second printing of this for $2 because they were like, all right, we should make some money on this.
Second printing, twice the money.
I don't get it, but you can actually see who that was, right? And I won't spoil it yet. We'll talk about sort of what that is.
We'll get there.
Yep. Okay, so overall, the story was broken into 5 chapters featuring the different teams, and it surprisingly remained coherent. And this is a really great story about Blue Beetle's investigation of the disappearance of millions of dollars from his alter ego's company,
Cord
Industries,
yeah.
right? So Ted Cord. So he's been out of the JLA for a while, and he's been meeting old friends from his Justice League days. Blue Beetle finds that high-profile superheroes they just don't care. They're like, he says, "Can I have help?" And they're like, "Nah, dude, you're kind of out." So
I just ran across sorry to interrupt, but I just ran across the page where Hal Jordan shows up, and he says, "Guy sends his regards." And Beetle's response is, "Oh, I'm sure."
Yeah. And that's the thing that I wanted to ask you about was that Keith Giffen is a legend in the creation of the Justice League that a lot of us know, right, from the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So what this story is sort of built up as, Jeff Johns sort of took the opportunity to take that Justice League and then kind of play with them a little bit. Because I guess that didn't really happen in Crisis on Infinite Earths.
That was Beetle. And Booster didn't show up until after Crisis.
And Beetle showed up.
Beetle just came into the DC universe then.
And he came off early as like a smart ass, and like that little exchange there sort of is a great hearkening back to when Batman knocked out Guy Gardner and Beetle was laughing.
Beetle like spent the rest of the issue like wiping tears out of his eyes because he was laughing so hard because he and Guy Gardner hated each other. They just bumped heads constantly. So
the clown-like sort of smug Beetle that we normally see, who not really serious, gets a chance here. That's what this comic is really about. Basically no one's going to give him the time of day, but he starts to sort of investigate alone, and you get to see that he's actually a pretty good detective. In fact, a great one. He increasingly uncovers a conspiracy that brings him to the secret headquarters of the evil organization of Checkmate. And basically, yeah, they're a secret underbelly of the U.S. government organization. And they've taken control of a network of spy satellites created and launched by Bruce Wayne.
Oh.
Yeah. Now, one thing to note is that at this stage, memory wiping has been an issue, and they address it in this story.
Okay.
Batman discovers that his memory has been wiped from the Identity Crisis.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah, they did that in Identity Crisis.
As well as Dr. Light, who's equally pissed.
Oh, yeah.
So these are sort of looming issues throughout the story, which is really cool. In the process, this is going to be the overall. We'll talk a little bit about details. In the process of sort of undergoing this investigation, Blue Beetle redeems himself, revealing himself to be an investigator on Batman's level instead of the comedic character of his, the 1980s Keith Geffen run, or before that, which has been largely forgotten in his solo series, right? Which he was a little more serious, a little more mission driven.
Yeah, well, like if you see him in Crisis, he was straight up just like Batman. I mean, it's dark.
We would storm out of the Beetle bug ship. And he would kick butt and then use his technology to his advantage. Definitely. So we find out that the culprit and leader of the underground portion of Checkmate turns out to be none other than the JLA member Maxwell Lord, right? The ringleader of the Justice League.
That bastard.
Who is from the Giffen era. Hey, don't be licking your fingers and touching my comic book.
Hey.
Okay, it's a first print.
Got to do it.
Slurpee. So, having solved the mystery and having been violently captured by the overwhelming forces, Blue Beetle defiantly refuses to join Maxwell Lord, self-consciously playing into the cliched join or die sort of genre moment, a trope that we see.
Yeah.
And, Maxwell Lord shoots Blue Beetle in the head and blows his brains out and murders him.
Messed up.
I jumped right to the end of the comic, but I mean, that is sort of kind of what is like a major point in here. However, these are not the only deaths that occur in this story.
Okay.
So the move not only is upsetting to genre conventions, but suddenly and brutally annihilates the character with whom we've identified over the entire issue.
Yeah.
I mean, he becomes a really awesome, likable, serious A-level character who's doing the same business as the heavy hitters, and then he just gets blown away by a former teammate, right?
Yeah.
Or boss, I guess you'd call him.
Yeah, because he was at different times. Maxwell Lord was kind of like their boss. Yeah, he oversaw everything, like the administrative side.
He's like Charlie.
Yeah.
Or Basil or Q.
Basil Exposition.
Yeah. Or the guy from Power Rangers.
Oh.
Yep. Forget his name.
Zordon.
It
took me a second to remember.
Thank you so much. Yes. So this is an identification masterfully enhanced by the pathos the script grants the nobly intentioned and capable Blue Beetle, who the Justice League doesn't even bother to include on its list of reserve members. So he's this very much shunned hero on the rise, redemption story, and then he's just annihilated. You see it?
Yeah, it was pretty brutal too.
But not only does Blue Beetle die in this, but Shazam, Pariah, Hawkwoman, and Maxwell Lord. All.
Max Lord doesn't buy it.
Oh, not yet. Yeah.
No, yeah.
Here, let me give you some.
It happened somewhere else because that was the thing that I remembered at the beginning of Infinite Crisis.
He's dead.
Yeah, Wonder Woman killed him on national TV. So that, rightfully so, made some people a little nervous.
That's rough. Yeah. So we'll talk about where that stems from. So just a sort of a little bit of a detailed version now. Blue Beetle breaks into an office building and begins working on a computer, right, where he finds out that the computer has information on Batman, who he is.
Oh.
Right, that you see it in like one of the first few pages. So he calls Oracle, right, to sort of get that going. He reconciles the memory erasing done by the JLA to Batman and the other bad guys from the Identity Crisis. So that's the connection there. And then Oracle tells Blue Beetle that the previous day someone siphoned $20 million of his money to several dummy corporations, nearly bankrupting him. One of the names on the receipt is OMAC.
Oh.
That's the important part.
Yeah.
Because we were talking before about how Wonder Woman kills Maxwell Lord.
Mm-hmm.
This is why, right? Because
Yeah.
he's been found out and he kills Ted Kord. So even being a low-level character, she's pissed. And there's probably other things that lead up to that as well, but that is in a special issue of OMAC.
Okay.
I think it's like OMAC number 2. So they relaunched the series at this point.
Yeah, there was an ad towards the back here that was,
For OMAC.
Countdown continues in Day of Vengeance, the OMAC Project, Villains United, and the Ran Thanagar War.
Yeah, which is a whole other thing. They mention that once in the story, which is the Thanagarians, right? The Hawk people.
Yeah.
So that was another thing I wasn't really sure about. So sometimes there's things like that. When they do these crossover things, if you don't know, it's hard to bite onto that part of the story. So somebody, she's able to discover this, and Oracle tells him that somebody's been using his ATM card as well.
Jeez.
Yeah. Beetle goes to where his card is being used and finds Booster Gold. Beetle tells Gold about his problems, and the reason he does this is because Booster doesn't have an account in the time period. So in order to do that, he has to loan him his credit card so he can live. So it's very interesting. So he says, hey, you should go see Maxwell Lord, right? Lord says he'll look into things, and Beetle tells Gold that they need to go see Bruce Wayne. Gold leaves to shoot a commercial, and Beetle goes to see Batman. Batman tells Beetle he'll look into it, and Beetle leaves. This is when he gets sort of shunned off, like I was saying before. And then back in the office building, Beetle is looking through the file he has found and sees Superman's secret identity as Clark Kent. So how does this computer have all that information? Beetle calls a group of superheroes to one of his warehouses that's been burglarized. Among the items taken is 100 pounds of kryptonite. Yep.
Yikes.
The 6 other heroes leave, and an hour later, still at the warehouse, Beetle is attacked by 6 laughing villains known as the Madmen. You see them, wahahaha.
Yeah.
So you called that pretty good. 2 days. Sorry, these are just the countdown things because they always do that with these stories.
Yeah.
Beetle and Gold are doing some computer hacking just for fun, trying to find the source of Beetle's money problems. And Gold spells Beetle at the computer, and a bomb explodes. Yeah.
They were going to order Chinese food, and then it blew up.
Gold is wounded and is taken to the hospital. Beetle's scarab begins pulsating, and he follows the pulses to a door that leads him to the hall of the wizard Shazam. Beetle has a cryptic meeting with Shazam in which he learns nothing before being teleported away.
Yeah.
So Beetle
he
goes.
Basically shuns the wizard shuns him too.
Yeah, that's the whole thing with this story, is that every place that would seemingly be a place where he could redeem, he gets pooped on.
Yeah.
Shazam. So you gotta say this Shazam when you poop on people. So Beetle goes into his beetle-shaped ship, and it explodes. Kablamo. Beetle's wounds are tended at the JLA Watchtower, where Wonder Woman questions him about his investigation. She asks him to keep her posted and leaves for the embassy. Beetle tells John Jones about what is happening, and Jones receives a distress call from Adam Strange that the planet Ran is under attack by the Thanagarians. John Jones leaves to help Strange with the war. Beetle teleports home and then goes to see Gold in the hospital. At the hospital, Beetle tells Gold he has found a transmitter in his goggles that someone has been using to keep tabs on him. And Gold tries to go out of the hospital bed to help his friend and then faints because he's still so hurt.
Yep.
After seeing Gold put back into the bed, Beetle leaves. Beetle backtracks the signal from the transmitter he found in his goggles to a fortified complex in the Swiss Alps. Hello. He sneaks into the complex and gains entry to the office, in which he finds on a computer a file that contains the secret identities of numerous heroes around the world. So again, more of that information. Beetle opens the file that is on the computer and sees that he is marked as deceased. Mm-hmm. The office lights turn on, and Beetle whirls around to find himself facing Maxwell Lord and 3 gods. Lord tells Beetle that he is king of the new Checkmate organization, whose purpose is to stop the metahumans around the world. The computer files on the screen disappear, and Lord rushes to the computer to see what Beetle has done to them. Beetle uses the opportunity to try and escape, and an OMAC unit disarms Beetle.
Not before he punches Maxwell Lord.
Oh, yeah. He had to give him one
shot. He laid one in.
He had been immobilized. Lord asks Beetle to join him. Beetle refuses, and then the headshot occurs, killing Beetle in the process. So that was this is a good story.
Yeah.
I really like the way they sort of set it up. It really felt like, wow, they're giving Beetle a chance to sort of really become something. And he gets offed, with
well, and that's the
no
thing.
prejudice.
Yeah, they bring Beetle back into the forefront, and because him in the story is kind of the way the character was in publishing. He had left the Justice League, so they didn't really have anything for. He didn't have a book. Him and Booster did stuff together, but
what was his sort of comic life after Crisis on Infinite Earths?
He had his own series for a while. Mm-hmm. He was part of the Justice League for a while, but then he wasn't anymore. And like I said, he kind of been shuffled back. He didn't have his own series. I think what it was with this, they wanted to have a new Blue Beetle, which is the
Jaime Reyes.
Reyes, yeah, that is in the Titans.
Yep.
They wanted to have a new Blue Beetle, so hey, let's do something with this one.
Break him.
We'll take Ted Kord and you put him into something like this, and people remember why you liked him in the first place, and he's really cool, and you have a connection with him, and you build that connection again through this whole story, and then when you're really invested in him, Maxwell Lord shooting him in the head so brutally really puts him over the top as the big bad villain.
And Beetle's martyred forever. I mean, that sort of helps solidify that character.
Yeah.
One trope that I noticed that I thought was really a good thing was what Morrison had done with Animal Man, was to, and this is very similar, to take this sort of lower level character and then drag him through hell.
Yeah.
And then make him completely lovable, it's like the story of Job.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Where you just feel for the guy, at the same time, you're like, he just wants to, somebody robbed him,
Yeah.
Let the
he
poor
wants to
guy
figure out what's going on, yeah.
And nobody's giving him the time of day.
Yeah.
And then to see him, get to that point where he might win, and then it's just taken away from him.
Yeah, brutally taken away. It's just, it's rough.
But this set up then what is the next year, right? The 2006 crossover summer event, Infinite Crisis. I forget when, this was at the end of the year, I think. And then Infinite Crisis came out.
They were the Villains United that they were advertising in there. It was a 6-part miniseries, so that would lead into
perfect. So this was the end of the year,
probably,
maybe, right? And then at the beginning, it doesn't have a date.
Does it not say?
Yeah, of when it actually was had come out.
And that would work. That would lead it directly in. The 6-issue Villains United would go get them to the summer when they always did the May 2005 is when this came out.
Oh wow! So it was almost a year.
Yeah.
And they had there was a JLA issue that's often referenced that I kept seeing that made a connect that this sort of went into a little bit. Yeah, I forget what it was. And there's a ton of connected reading that I found.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean,
there's always a ton of
there is
reading.
A Day of Vengeance, Villain United, the Rand Thanagar War, which went across a ton of comics. Adam Strange, Hawkman, Coalition and Crisis.
OMAC.
Was
also included in that.
There was the Identity Crisis epilogue, Dr. Light and the Teen Titans.
I've read Identity Crisis, but I haven't read the Identity Crisis epilogue.
Firestorm in Space, which sees the return of Donna Troy.
Oh, yeah.
Something called Power Trip.
Because I remember that Firestorm was trapped down in space.
And he couldn't get home, or he couldn't separate, or
yeah. And it was just Professor Stein.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh boy. All right, so he's screwed.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And it's one of those things that secondary characters like that, like Beetle, he just kind of hadn't done anything with him for a while.
Yeah.
Same thing, Firestorm, he was out in space and they just kind of left him there because they didn't really have anything for him
until he became Deathstorm, I suppose.
Yeah, until he came. No, he came back to Earth. And they had a new Firestorm before Blackest Night, and that's when Ronnie came back as Deathstorm.
Oh, nice.
And got part of it. He was
Jason Rush.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then after Blackest Night was over, they found out that Deathstorm was still part of the Matrix. It was still in there.
Oh, damn.
So yeah, it came out again. So
I love that. But coming up next week, we are going to.
Are we at Infinite Crisis?
We are at Infinite Crisis. And how many issues was Infinite Crisis?
I think it was 6, maybe.
Was it? Okay.
Maybe not that much. Let me see.
Crossover event. Yeah, I'm just seeing here real quick how many comics it actually was. I think it's 7.
7, it says, yeah.
7 issues. Okay, so we might do that as a 2-parter.
Okay.
Because it's a big.
That makes sense,
it's a big. I mean, this was meaty, but luckily the highlights were pretty highlightable. I don't really need to mention that Thanagar War. It wasn't a major part of the story. And the memory thing with Dr. Light and Batman was cool, but it didn't really get into it.
Yeah.
And there was a couple other things that I thought would, like the Shazam stuff, didn't really pan out.
Yeah.
Kind of just, like Black Adam was in the mix. Villains United, I think, rounds that
probably,
out.
Probably.
Because that team with...
Deathstroke was in there. Yeah.
Right. Lex, Black Adam, a few others, I forget.
So I'm sure that's where that fleshes out.
For sure. So we're not going to read those for the sake of of brevity, but we're going to go right for the first few issues of Infinite Crisis.
Okay.
Next show. But Tim, I got to give this. I think this is probably like a 4.5 out of 5 Ninja stars.
Nice.
As far as as a great read.
Yeah.
Definitely have to have read Identity Crisis, Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah.
To really get this, I think.
Yeah.
And
Identity Crisis is one of those that if you haven't read it.
Brad Meltzer.
Yeah.
He's an amazing novelist, and he has that show, that like Mysteries of the World
right,
show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you haven't read that, go out and pick up the straight paperback. You'll enjoy that. It's different. It's
dark.
It's dark. It's
Very
really dark, and it's more of a look of what superheroes would be like in the real world.
Yeah.
It's like things happen, and you have to deal with it.
Well, and it's being superhero is a political thing.
Yeah.
So like, if you call me a villain, like we see in politics today, you can completely change the conversation.
Yep.
And we see heroes do that. Right?
Yeah.
They absolutely change the conversation. And it's like, what does it mean to be a villain if the villains do good? And what does it mean to be a good guy if they do bad?
It's a very interesting story, and it's one of those at the end of it is like, okay, well, they shouldn't have done that, but they had to. But this was, oh God, what the hell do you do?
It really pulls at your cognitive dissonance, to keep what you feel and what you think in two separate areas.
Yeah, exactly. It's an incredible story. So if you haven't read it, Identity Crisis, pick that up.
That's a good one.
It's a really good one. So
looking back, I wish I may have read it
to
do
a
thing on it. I mean, I don't know if it's too late to do that because we're out of order.
But
it'd be a good exploring multiverse story because it doesn't quite. It's not a crisis, but we could maybe do it. So
we may do that at some other point.
Yeah, it's a good standalone story too.
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
Really
oh yeah, absolutely. So
so this has been your bartender
the
shaking that third, giving you a green Martian martini,
but not a White Russian.
No, man, just want my rug back.
All right, well, that is our Exploring the Multiverse segment. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to have our showcase on classic science fiction novels from the 50s.
Our hailing frequencies are always open. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Just search Ninja Troll Digicast or drop us an email at ninjatroll@digitaltuxedo.com.
So, I'm a dog, and I'm kind of new to this family, but I've noticed a trend. My humans do this thing where they go around and get all my toys and hide them in this basket, but it's always the same basket, and it's always the same place, and then they act so surprised when I find them, but I'm like, hello, that's where you put it last time. Humans are the worst at hide and go seek.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ninja Troll Digicast proudly presents The Showcase.
All right, this is the Ninja Troll Showcase, the segment where we take the Ninja Troll spotlight and shine it on a subject of our choosing. And this week I wanted to kind of branch out a little bit. We'd been doing almost exclusively comic book stuff. We did the Batman TV series and a little bit of a Star Trek last week. But I want to jump into some of the science fiction literature
Nice.
And
you're an expert on it. I'm dying to know.
And I love it. That's the thing. I love this stuff. The classic 50s novels.
Yeah.
The Asimov, Heinlein. I love all those things.
There's when you told me you were doing this, there's a great I forget what it's called, like Forefathers of Science Fiction documentary. I'm gonna look it up because I got my picks. There are a couple.
It sounds
Netflix
familiar.
things.
I may have watched it. Because there was a series, like a documentary series that would it was kind of that thing. They would pick one and do episodes about them.
Yeah, I forget. Oh man, it was what was. All right, well, you
yeah, I'll jump in
here.
You find that.
I will find it. It's going to be part of my recommendation because I thought it would be a great.
Yeah, and I wanted to start with the 50s because that was like I said, that was the golden age. But I want to continue on through this the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and the double alts.
The double alts.
The double alts.
So we're looking at this going to be over the next 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah.
It looks like.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great. Okay.
Yeah.
Can we thematically dress for that time?
I think
period?
we should.
Can we cosplay what was
get to
60s science fiction? We'd have to be all lost in space and
yes,
stuff. And,
yes. We had to dress like Robbie the Robot.
Yeah.
And in the 80s, we got to have the flock of seagulls, crazy hair, and it was a lot of cyberpunk, so it'd be like leather and
and
stuff
cool
like that.
haircuts and metallic cybernetic implants.
Cybernetic implants, yeah, exactly.
The Prophets of Science Fiction was the name of this.
I remember that. I remember that series. It was I don't remember where it came on, but yeah, it was. They did one on Asimov. They did one on Heinlein.
Lovecraft, I think they
Lovecraft,
did.
probably, yeah.
Mary Shelley, Philip K. Dick, Wells, Clark, Asimov, Verne, Heinlein, and Lucas.
Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, but okay, let's go back to the 50s, and there was I looked several series or not series, but I looked up several lists of like greatest science fiction in the 50s and kind of got a consensus list. But then of course I had to throw in my own, because there's ones that are favorites of mine that don't really show up on those like the master list. But I still they're one of my favorites, so I have to throw them in there.
Well, awesome. Those are all gems then.
Exactly, yeah. So, but the first one, Martian Chronicles, Ray Bradbury.
That was from the 50s?
Yep, 1950 actually, or 51, or maybe 50. I don't remember exactly when it was, but it was early 50s.
Wow, I read that in high school.
And actually, most of the stories in it were published in the late 40s. Mid to late 40s, because that was the thing. The Martian Chronicles was
all separate little.
Yeah, it wasn't a novel. It was a short story collection that was put together and kind of told a sweep of history, of future history.
There were a couple of stories that connected again, right? Because there's one character who goes home and then back to Mars. I forget later in the story.
Yeah, and it. I think those were the new ones, because he did do some new ones, like connecting ones. To put those in, but most of them were previously published in like astonishing stories and
all the magazines.
Yeah, which those still operate.
Yeah,
Astonishing is now Analog, is the name of it now. It still publishes, and then there's actually the other big science fiction magazine is Asimov's.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yep.
I've seen Weird Tales and stuff, and
Weird Tales was one of the old ones. Yes,
it come back and be that masthead be used again. In sort of a new way.
Yeah. So. But there's a lot of those old. That's how those guys made their name, and that's how they fed their families.
Yeah.
So
just swinging that pulp.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I'm going to point out a little later is like the recurring names. But the first one, Ray Bradbury, obviously one of the most prolific guys from back then.
Absolutely.
Martian Chronicles, part short story collection, part episodic novel. It tells the future history of the colonization of Mars, which, by the way, should have started 17 years ago.
On that.
Yeah. And the conflict between the colonists and the Aboriginal Martians. And then the transition of the former Earthmen to now considering themselves Martians. The humans are leaving Earth because it is dying. And one of the last stories, I don't think it was the last one, I think it was the next to last one, is about an automated house on Earth that nobody lives in, but it's still operating as if it's like, oh, it's time to wake up, but there's nobody there.
Oh, wow. That's creepy.
It's very creepy, yeah. And even to the point where at the end of the day, for the evening, it automatically reads the woman's favorite poem. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's very, very...
Daisy, Daisy.
Yeah, even though there's nobody there to hear. But then at the end of it, like if I remember correctly, a tree branch falls on it and like it ends up burning down the house except for like one wall. So it ends up being destroyed. And it's like a larger allegory to the entire story of the earth. And it was, I mean, a lot of it was, a lot of these things were very political. They were looking at, he was looking at the rampant colonization of the Europeans coming to the New World. And it was a direct thing there. The Earthlings coming to Mars and basically destroying the Martian society for what they wanted to rebuild. And then they slowly started to realize, okay, we shouldn't be rebuilding Earth society because it's failing. And that's the reason we're leaving.
Right.
So, yeah, a lot of these were very political. So,
awesome.
The next one on the list, and this list is in no order whatsoever. It's just thrown on there. It's not like I'm counting down to the best one because I can't do that. Yeah. The next one is The Day of the Triffids by John Wyndham. I've read a little bit of this. I never finished it.
The Day of the what?
The Day of the Triffids. Triffids.
Ah, yeah. Ooh, okay.
This was completely born from Cold War paranoia. It tells the story of a post-apocalyptic world where a plague of blindness strikes most of the people on Earth. This allows the rise of a species of aggressive plants called triffids that started showing up on Earth years before all this happened. The triffids, and this is the most frightening description, triffids can grow to over 7 feet tall, pull their roots from the ground to walk, and can kill a man with one quick lash of their poisonous stingers.
I'm seeing a picture.
Yeah.
I'm horrified.
Yeah, they're absolutely horrifying. The main character is Bill Mason. He is a biologist that studies the triffids and believes that they are bioengineered weapons of the Soviet Union and that the meteor shower that blinded everybody was actually malfunctioning orbital weapons platforms.
Oh,
so it's totally
true.
It's totally like I said, Cold War paranoia, completely. But you then are left with this society of almost like The Walking Dead. You have these people that are blind, everything else descends into chaos, and you have these few people who are still sighted that have to exist in this world.
Yeah.
It's like I said, the description of the Triffids is just horrifying.
Looks like there's been a few movie versions.
Yes, there have. Yeah, I don't remember ever seeing one because I don't know if I could take that. So,
awesome.
Next on the list, and the first entry of one of my all-time favorite authors, Isaac Asimov, Foundation. Foundation it's like the Martian Chronicles in that it was originally short stories that are put together, and it was then later expanded into a trilogy with Foundation and Empire as the second book, and Second Foundation is the third. Then later, like in the 80s, he expanded it even farther with two prequels called Prelude to Foundation and Forward the Foundation, which tied it into his other Robot and Empire series.
Awesome.
So yeah, that connected the three series and basically made it into one big, long swipe of future history.
Awesome.
Starting with the Robot novels to the Empire novels, then to Foundation.
So some authors are known for certain things that they specialize in, right? So is Asimov the futurist, or what's his robots?
Well, he had the Robot series, and then the Galactic Empire series. Like I said, it's all set. The Robot novels are set like maybe 200 years from now.
Okay.
Then the Galactic Empire is when we started colonizing Earth. Colonizing the universe or the galaxy.
Yeah.
And we start building up this empire. And then the Earth becomes uninhabitable, so we leave.
Okay.
And then that's when the real Galactic Empire builds up.
I see.
And then that galactic empire leads to Foundation. And that the whole thing of Foundation, it was an idea that came from Edward Gibbon's History of the Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire.
Ah.
But Asimov took it as the fall of the Galactic Empire.
Perfect.
And a mathematician named Harry Seldon develops a branch of mathematics known as psychohistory, a concept of mathematical sociology. Using it, he can predict the future, but only on a large scale. He can't pick out any one special event, but he can look at a wide range of dates and tell you where things are going.
Wow.
And he foresees the fall of the empire in a dark age lasting 30,000 years before a second great empire arises. He also sees an alternative where the interim period would only last 1,000 years. So to ensure this, he forms a foundation of talented artists and engineers at the far end of the galaxy to preserve humanity's collective knowledge. So essentially, like the Irish monks that
kept the Kells book.
They kept all the writings, and when the Roman Empire fell, they kept basically written history so that people would still have it. Without them, a lot of things would be lost. They did the exact same there with the Foundation.
Oh, that's cool.
And they became then the foundation for the new Galactic Empire.
Awesome.
So, and well, you were talking about recurring things. Asimov has one that I'll get into later when we're talking about another one of his.
Okay.
But the next one is The Demolished Man, out by Alfred Bester, who is the man who wrote the Green Lantern Oath.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
He was a comic book writer as well.
Oh, and he wrote DC.
Yes. He wrote for everybody.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess they all did that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The Demolished Man, in a world where telepathy is common and used by the police to sweep minds to detect crimes before they happen, murder is virtually impossible. So you got to work harder.
So this is Demolition Man?
The Demolished Man.
But I'm saying it has a... Well, no, I guess it'd be more
Demolition
like
Man
Report.
was Sylvester Stallone. It was
right,
a whole
right,
different thing.
But I don't know, like, as in their future crime was eliminated.
Yeah, kind of the same thing, except they have
like a minority
precogs.
System.
These are actually espers, ESP people with ESP who kind of scan minds and
rob the liquor store.
Yeah, it's not like a precognition thing. It's I can see it in your head before you go to do it.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the main character is Ben Reich, who hires espers to run interference for him, and he also uses. I love this bit. He uses a nonsense song. He basically goes to a jingle writer and gets him to teach him this, basically just a nonsense song, and it's an earworm. It gets its musical duct tape. It gets stuck to him, and it's always running through his head, and it blocks espers.
I knew it. I knew there was a way to do that.
Musical duct tape
jingles
comes to the rescue.
That's right. Oh man.
But yeah, Demolished Man is a very good one. It's very good.
Cool.
Very good story. But like I said, when murder is virtually impossible, you got to work.
You got to work harder.
So you got to work harder, find a way to do it. So, and that's his whole, his whole thing. It's a built-in human thing, and so it's gonna happen. Even though you could try to make it impossible, it's still gonna happen. They'll just work a little harder, and it'll still happen.
That's right. Yeah. So still leak out. Right.
Next one is Childhood's End by Arthur C. Clarke. This tells the story of the peaceful alien invasion of Earth by the overlords, whose arrival brings apparent utopia, but human identity and culture start to erode. Eventually, Earth people are changed into a new species, and they leave Earth to become part of the Overmind. So it's Arthur C. Clarke had some really crazy he was the definition of hard science fiction.
Okay.
Because he was a scientist himself.
He had like weird things about Jupiter, right?
The 2001.
Yeah.
But it was he had some huge overranging ideas to like this. It wasn't just a standard alien invasion. They come in firing guns and we fight them off. And no, it was they come in like peaceful and they give you utopia and they stop the Soviet Union and America from fighting to help us all. But then you find out that they're actually changing us into other people. Yeah, so let's greet his people.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was Arthur C. Clarke's stuff was very different, but it was you had to think, you had to seriously think about his stuff. So you it wasn't just like a casual read. You had to sit down and you had to concentrate.
Yeah.
On his stuff.
As you're sort of calling these things out, and there's quite a bit of media surrounding this. This
that one's had a couple of. I think it had a radio drama.
Had a pretty recent show or movie. It looks like, where Charles Dance played. He was the evil. What's his name? Lannister. He was the Lannister daddy.
Oh, okay.
Tywin Lannister.
Yeah.
He played the Overlord, like the one who looks like a devil.
Yeah.
I guess that's how they're depicted.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, that they didn't reveal themselves. They never are seen. Mm-hmm. And anytime they're revealed, everybody's shocked. So.
Well, I can see why.
Yeah, there you go. So, but the next one is Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. Second appearance of him in the list. It's set in a future where society doesn't read books and firemen don't put out fires. They start them by burning books.
Yeah.
In this world, people don't read books, enjoy nature, spend time by themselves, think independently, or have meaningful conversations. Instead, they drive very fast, watch excessive amounts of television on wall-sized sets, and listen to music on sets attached to their ears. Sound familiar?
Yes. Sounds like 2005.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a little scary when you look at it that way and just baldly describe it. You go, oh, whoa, wait.
That was probably crazy back then, but it was inspired by the Nazis, right?
Yeah. Yeah, who banned books. And that was the, I forget the firefighter's name, who's the main character, but he has like a little stash of books that he has kept.
Right.
Because he starts to wonder, he's like, okay, why are we burning these? What's in there? And then he has like a mentor that is like, every fireman comes to that time where he wonders, and it's like, but you'll get through it. Kind of one of those things.
There's a Guy Montag.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the main fireman.
Yeah. And Emma is starting to read that, so it's going to be interesting to get her take on it and see.
You got to check out that movie. The movie that they came out with is excellent.
Cool. Yeah.
And I was telling you, like his uniform, the fireman's uniform, looks like a storm imperial officer's uniform.
Nice.
The black and the leather.
Yeah, it had
mixture.
the salamander on the.
That was the symbol of the society.
Yeah, that's cool. Cool. All right. Well, next on the list, and this is this book has one of the best opening paragraphs I've ever read. More Than Human by Theodore Sturgeon. Tells the story of the combining of 6 people with extraordinary powers who are able to blesh, which is a mixture of the words blend and mesh. They blesh their abilities together and act as one organism, leading to the next step in human evolution, Homo Gestalt.
Okay.
The book is in 3 parts, a previously published novella called Baby is 3, and then The Fabulous Idiot and Morality, which were written for the release as a novel. And like I said, it has one of the best opening paragraphs I've ever read, and I have it here.
Oh.
The idiot lived in a black and gray world, punctuated by the white lightning of hunger and the flickering of fear. His clothes were old and many-windowed. Here peeped a shin bone, sharp as a cold chisel, and there in the torn coat were ribs like the fingers of a fist. He was tall and flat. His eyes were calm, and his face was dead.
What?
It was just like, as soon as I read that, I was just like, oh, whoa.
It's really interesting writing. It's a lot to grasp.
Oh, yes. It's very purpley. I'll admit that. I mean, the purple prose is in full view.
What is purple prose?
It's when it's overly dramatic and just over the top.
Gotcha.
It is definitely a little purple, but it's a striking opening paragraph.
Absolutely.
You have my attention at that point. You have gotten me. So it's just like it was one of the most striking opening paragraphs I've ever read. So always loved that.
Nice.
The next one, Mission of Gravity, Hal Clement. It is set on the planet Mescaline, which is oblate and has a surface gravity that varies from 3G at the equator to 700G at the poles.
Oh. So, Earth is 1G.
Yes.
Right. So
even at the equator, at the lowest, it's 3 times the gravity of Earth.
Dang.
But then at the poles, it's 700.
You'd be crushed.
You'd be crushed.
Sure,
Exactly. Yeah. It's told from the point of view of local intelligent forms and a human explorer. The human explorer, even at the equator, has to have like mechanical help to live.
Wouldn't hold up.
Yeah. But the inhabitants are centipede-like to withstand the high gravity, and they're terrified of even small heights because that 700G, even a tiny fall is fatal.
Totally.
So and the I think it's Captain Bree is the guy's name, or the native life form. He travels from the pole to the equator and then runs into the human that's there, and he's struggling to survive with mechanical help.
Oh, to weigh him down.
The human is struggling to survive in what to Captain Bree is like a tiny amount of
he's like, I can fly
gravity.
Here.
Yeah, I can fly here. Exactly. So it's an interesting concept.
Interesting.
Yeah. The next one is A Case of Conscience, James Blish. It's the story of Father Ramon Ruiz Sanchez, a Jesuit priest who investigates an alien race that is based in cold logic and has no religion, yet has a perfect innate sense of morality. So the father is presented with both a scientific riddle and an ethical quandary, as he is torn between the teachings of his faith and the teachings of his science.
That sounds like Vulcan.
Yeah, it very much does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the next one is a Canonical for Leibowitz, Walter M. Miller Jr. Another post-apocalyptic story. It started 600 years after a global nuclear war called the Flame Deluge. After the deluge, there was a backlash against technology that gave us the technology that gave us the wars. The backlash was called the simplification, and anyone with education, and then later anyone who could read, was likely to be killed by mobs, because that was in their minds, and these people became proud of the title simpletons. Because
this is like a lot
technology.
of
Technology gave us war and killed everybody.
Yeah.
So we're going the exact opposite way. So anybody who even knew how to read was subject to be, singled out and beaten down.
Damn.
Isaac Leibowitz was a Jewish electrical engineer who converted to Catholicism and found a monastic order called the Albertan Order of Leibowitz to preserve knowledge by hiding books and smuggling them to safety, which they called booklegging. Instead of bootlegging, booklegging. I thought that was cool.
Nice.
Centuries after his martyrdom, they still preserve the memorabilia, and that's a capital M, memorabilia, in hope that it will help future generations reclaim forgotten science.
Cool.
It's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
And then last on this official list, I guess you'd call it, is Starship Troopers, Robert A. Heinlein.
From the 50s?
Yes.
Oh.
That was in the 50s. The movie
was like, what, 15 years ago?
Late 90s, maybe?
Oh, yeah, maybe 20 years ago.
Yeah,
something like that. That's bad. Oh,
yeah. And the book was much better than the movie.
Really? The movie was great.
You stop it. It was a military sci-fi novel narrated as a series of flashbacks by Johnny Rico, who is a cap trooper in the Mobile Infantry Unit during the interstellar war between the Terran Federation of Earth and the Arachnids of Klindathu. It's also a part political essay, as a lot of it is set in the classroom where Rico and classmates debate with their teachers. And the Terran Federation it's a limited democracy. You only get full citizenship if you serve the Federation,
which was what happened in the movie, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the movie actually did stick relatively close to the novel.
Yeah,
it was just horribly bad acting. And they changed a lot of stuff.
What do you mean, Tim?
Well, actually, they didn't change a lot of stuff. They added characters, and that was the kind of the issue.
Okay.
But yeah, it was interesting because they had kind of stripped away. It was almost like socialism because they'd stripped away a lot of stuff that you still had free will and you had freedom of speech and all that, but to vote, you had to be a citizen. And to be a citizen, you had to do mandatory 2-year
service.
Yeah. And everybody who wanted to volunteer had to be, they found a place for everybody.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm sure.
So
throw you in front of fodder and.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, the whole thing goes from him starting as just basically a grunt all the way up to lieutenant. Kind of like the movie did. He moved up to where he was a lieutenant and in charge of
successful and all that great stuff.
Yeah, but it was like I said, it was a much better book than it was a movie. So
for real.
But my little extra list of stuff I wanted to mention: The Green Hills of Earth by Robert Heinlein. And again, like I was saying, the recurring names on this list. These guys cranked out so much stuff, and like they would have Heinlein and Asimov and Bradbury would have like 2 books a year.
That's unheard of.
And classics, not like here's one good one, here's one crappy one.
Yeah, right.
They're classics.
Oh man.
But Green Hills of Earth by Robert A. Heinlein, The Illustrated Man, Ray Bradbury, Puppet Masters by Heinlein, the movie we were talking about
with the
last
planet.
week.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I had to mention the planet.
Yeah. The Stars Like Dust from Isaac Asimov, which was one of the Galactic Empire novels.
Awesome.
This Island Earth, Raymond F. Jones, which got made into the movie, which is a really good movie, but then it got spoofed on Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah, right.
So it's more famous for that now than anything.
Yeah.
But it was a really good movie. Starman Jones, Robert Heinlein, that was one of his. If I'm remembering that one right, that was one of his almost like young adult. He had a series of novels that were kind
was sort of like
was geared more for
readers.
kids. Yeah, early readers. Yeah, and then I Am Legend by Richard Matheson, which was a vampire novel basically. It was a post-apocalyptic world. Everybody was dead except for this one dude and a world full of vampires. Yeah.
Wow.
And the movie with Will Smith came out probably 7 years ago.
I Am Legend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was based off of that. And they made.
I thought they were like zombies. No.
They were in the movie. Yeah.
Okay.
But in the book, they were vampires. They were vampires. So
just as fine. I mean,
it
lurked
works
in the dark anyway. So.
Exactly. Yeah. And in the 70s, they made it. I think Charlton Heston was in it. It was called Omega Man. Yeah.
I remember that.
Then see where it was. The Body Snatchers, which became by Jack Finney, became Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the movie.
Yeah.
Another one by Asimov, The End of Eternity, which was a. It's kind of weird. It's almost like the Time Lords, Time Masters that Rip Hunter is part of.
Yeah.
They're outside of the timeline. Eternity was a place that was outside of the timeline, and you could go to any year and pop in. And they had people who went and investigated different things to make sure nobody was monkeying with stuff that they shouldn't.
Awesome.
And then this guy fell in love with somebody, and he pulled the woman out, and he wasn't supposed to do that, so he had to hide her. And see, he took her up to like
that's what happens.
He took her up to the far future, where after everything was gone, so there was nothing there, and just like kept her hid up there and try to.
Do you want to see my collection of yeah, no.
The Tunnel in the Sky by Robert Heinlein. The Star's My Destination by Alfred Bester, the same guy who did Demolished Man. Have Spacesuit Will Travel, Robert Heinlein. That was one. That was definitely one of his young adult ones. That was it was like a family of asteroid miners, if I remember correctly.
Cool.
Then it's a recurring thing here with the post-apocalyptic. I think one of the best one, Alas Babylon by Pat Frank. It was just not even try to hide anything. This guy's in Florida. The bombs get dropped, and they're stuck in.
Where in Florida?
It was.
That would matter.
I think it was the middle of Florida. It's been a while since I read this, but it was the middle of Florida, and they have to get there's now radioactive pockets all around the country,
and they got to avoid.
Yeah, they have to avoid them, and they have to figure out how they're going to live now. But yeah, it was like I said, there was no pretense of trying to figure out to say, oh, well, this is an allegory for this. Now it's the bombs are dropping.
Just a straight story.
It's a straight story.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, but the other two that I want to mention, and these are personal favorites of mine.
So this is outside of your list, like your main list.
Well, this whole bit here is just ones I threw in that kind of needed to be mentioned.
Gotcha.
But the Caves of Steel and The Naked Sun by Isaac Asimov, 2 robot novels, and the Earth Policeman is Elijah Bailey, and he gets saddled with a robot partner to solve a mystery. In both instances, one is on Earth and one he has to go to another planet to solve it. But what Asimov does is he works on a psychological level. There's things the Earth at that point is so overcrowded that people have to pack into
like ghettos or something, or
the cities become like mega cities now. They're essentially one big building. It's tunneled under, or not tunneled, but it's dug into the ground. So most everything is underground, and there's a dome over it. And that's where you get the name Caves of Steel. But people become then agoraphobic because they're not used to being outside. They're always in a building. So going outside freaks them out. They don't do it. So and that's the cheaper apartments are the ones close to the dome because it's right next to outside. And it's a capital O outside. It becomes a thing.
Whoa.
And Asimov works on these psychological things and goes, okay, what would happen to that? Then the mystery in the Caves of Steel, there's a murder in there's another place or settlement called Spacetown. It's basically like an embassy of the other planets.
Okay.
And the other planets use robots, but Earth has rejected using robots. Kind of like they take our jobs kind of deal. So they don't like them. And somebody in Spacetown has been killed. And the only way the Elijah Bailey can see that it would have happened is somebody went outside New York City, went into the outside, capital O outside, and traversed cross country to get to Spacetown to commit that murder. And he cannot he can't wrap his head around that concept. Nobody would do that.
Yeah, why would you?
And so that pathology, Asimov uses that and uses that as a plot point in the book. And I absolutely loved it. And another thing with it's become taboo for anybody to speak in a bathroom. It's kind of an extension of the way it is now. Guys don't talk in the bathroom. It's just, but it has now, then the natural progression of it is that it's completely cultural taboo
to do that.
That's one of the things that the robot that he's saddled with is a humanoid robot. So he looks human. So he goes into to the bathroom
and says, "So, what do you think about that?"
And he starts to say something, and Elijah is freaking out,
dude,
because yeah, and so it's become like a social
sort of commentary.
Yeah, so and a social impossibility that you do that.
Yeah.
And so he uses those as plot points. So that, and then the Naked Son follows up, and he goes to another planet. So he's completely like Stranger in a Strange Land.
Awesome.
So they're both mysteries. So that's really great.
And who is this? The authors one more time?
Asimov.
Isaac
Asimov. Yeah.
Awesome. So
and those are his robot novels.
So it seems like in the 50s that like Asimov and Bradbury maybe put out like
and Heinlein.
They
cranked out like 2 a year.
Wow.
Yeah. And then short stories as well.
Well, that's just all the time.
Yeah.
That could be 500 to 1,000 words.
Yeah, that's what they did. That's how they put food on the table. So that's what they did.
Wow.
That's how they paid their bills. But at the same time, Asimov was a professor.
Oh.
He was, he
had to work.
Actually, at the time, I don't think he was a professor yet. I think he was working like at the Naval Yard or something like that. But he became a professor at Boston University.
Amazing.
Yeah, he has over 500 books credited to his name, and including textbooks and novels and short story collections and everything. It was incredibly prolific, crazy. So
awesome.
But that is our showcase on the great science fiction novels of the 50s. Next week we're going to do the 60s. It's going to be cool and groovy and psychedelic, I'm sure. So, and then we're going to continue on to the 70s, 80s, 90s, and the double aughts.
Yes.
But before we get out of here, we're going to take a look at our picks for the week. My biggest one is the Arrow Dark Archer.
Oh, the comic
series. Yeah.
Cool.
The first one came out. I think the second one is out, but I haven't read it yet. The first one was really good, and you get a cliffhanger of Malcolm Merlin is not his real name.
Oh.
So you're like, okay,
where'd you come from?
Yeah, what's going on for that? Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to the second one. It looks beautiful. The art in it is top notch, absolutely top notch. So
awesome.
I'm looking forward to that. So
I'm just sort of peeping at what's coming up on Netflix. I want to recommend that Prophets of Science Fiction.
Yeah.
It's a good supplement, I think, to this series with your showcase, Tim, featuring these folks and their impacts. But a couple things coming out to Netflix as other things leave, like Doctor Who. Let's welcome Star Trek V: The Final Frontier.
Oh, boy.
Marvel Superhero Adventures, an animation called Frostfight.
Oh.
Is coming. And then, because I want to say this again really bad, Sin City comes back February
I did notice
1st,
that it's going to be,
which will be really
That's
nice.
pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
But we're losing a couple of good ones.
Yeah, that kind of it stinks. But I guess I see what they're doing. I know what I know what you got to do. So
yes.
But it still kind of sucks. So
it does.
But that's going to wrap up this week's edition of the Ninja Troll Digicast. Remember, for all the latest news from all around geek culture, make sure you follow us on social media, Facebook.com/Ninja Troll Digicast.
We're on MySpace. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
We're on Twitter at Ninja Troll Show.
And Instagram at Ninja Troll Digicast.
We're on Friendster. No, I'm just kidding.
You're just making them up.
We're on YouTube. I'm not making them up. They're real.
Is that real?
Yeah, man.
Friendster?
It came after. It came before MySpace.
Oh, that's
Don't worry about it.
Worst
You're
name
too
ever.
young to know that. We're on the YouTubes at youtube.com/TheLechacy/Ninja Troll Digicast.
And you can always visit us at NinjaTrollDigicast.com. And while you're there, click on the subscribe to iTunes button to get the Ninja Troll on iTunes. Make sure you join us next week. Same Ninja time, same Ninja channel.
You've been listening to the Ninja Troll Digicast. Tune in next time when you'll hear Tim say,
"We are a justice sandwich. No toppings necessary."
This is the Ninja Troll Digicast, the defenders of all things geek culture.
Don't go ninja, nobody don't need ninja.